DJ ROC and Raggedy Andy. It's the ROC and Raggedy Show.
That ether, that make your soul burn slow. That ether, that make your soul burn slow. That ether, that make your soul burn slow.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. In the place to be. It is fucking Raggedy.
That's that old Houdini.
Yeah. In the place to be. Oh man, what is going on? What's cracking, man?
Well, first we'd like to acknowledge some of our sponsors we have this week.
Yes.
We'll start with the Sprite Cherry Zero.
Yeah.
How does that taste?
It actually tastes delicious. I was not really a big fan of like the Zero drinks, the Coke Zero, the Pepsi Zero, all that. But
are there really 0 calories in those?
It says there's 0 calories.
It says it, but I can't picture something having 0 calories.
It has less than 1 gram of carbs, which is according to the what is the USDA? I think it is. That's equivalent to 0 calories.
Okay.
I was actually looking at I'm on the health kick, so I got some stevia in the raw. Shout out to a mom put me on to the stevia in the raw. And it says that if it has 4 grams or less of carbohydrates, something like that, that it's, based on the USDA, it's equal to no calories. So, and this Sprite Zero has less than 1 gram of carbs.
Okay.
0%.
I'll take their word for it.
It has 55 milligrams of sodium, 0 grams of fat, 0 grams of protein.
Now, how does that taste mixed with our other sponsor, Hennessy Very Special Cognac?
Shout out to Nas, who does all the voiceovers for Hennessy nowadays, And I don't know. I'm going to find out right now. I'm going to do the little on-air mix test for all the peoples doing this for the culture. I know this is a sports show, but think about it. Anytime you watch sports, who's doing all the ads? Budweiser. It's actually pretty good, man.
Okay.
Sprite, Cherry Zero, and Hennessy.
Well, I'd have to do mine side by side. I don't like to mix things because I don't mix well.
But
I will be having this Guinness Drought in a second.
Shout out to
another
one of our,
which is another one of our sponsors. Bomba clot, me I go drink that this.
Idiots.
And our other sponsor, our silent sponsor, which is the Fly High Club.
That's right.
You could usually catch me wearing some of their gear. Very good and very affordable. They're on the top of their stuff, man. And also,
High
the
quality.
Robin Banks line. Got to check him, too.
Ooh.
Robin Banks.
Yes. All right, so those are silent sponsors.
And even if y'all don't want to sponsor, y'all sponsoring, damn it, because I'm the one that raised y'all.
We force
Shout out to
sponsors
them
up in this
guys,
piece.
man.
We forcing sponsors. If you're not sponsoring us, now you are.
At Mark Star, we need some of that Rose Crate. All right? We need to get some of that.
You heard it here first.
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right,
sir.
sponsors out of the way. Welcome to episode 4
Ooh.
of ROC and Raggedy. And
boy, where do we start?
Man, I was getting ready to tell you, like, when I first was getting together some topics for this show, I'm like, man, we ain't got nothing to talk about. The NFL, it's a wrap for the NFL. They doing the combine, but it's a wrap. Boy, was I wrong.
You might want to watch the combine.
Yeah.
Say,
but I'm thinking,
Barkley.
I was thinking that, the combine was the only big news in the NFL.
Absolutely not.
You want to get right into the NFL meat show?
Pause. Let's speak on it. First of all,
yes,
this Kirk Cousins Sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Now we previously stated that the Broncos were in the lead.
Yeah.
We did state that the Cardinals were looking for a quarterback.
Of
now
course.
that Carson Palmer is retired. We
Jets
also
needed a quarterback
said that
for
the Jets
forever.
said that they were going to throw the bag at him.
Yeah.
But
They
then
got a big bag.
we have one more team that just entered the fray.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know why.
I don't either.
The team that we're speaking of is the Minnesota Vikings, right? They made it to the NFC Conference Finals.
Yes, they made it to the
With-
NFC title game.
with
one
Case
game
Keenum.
away from the Super Bowl.
And now, mind you, and I may be wrong in saying this, but if I'm correct, Case Keenum only lost, 2 games?
I think 3 including the conference championship.
Right. Okay. But that shows me that he's able to get you to where you want to go, especially with that defense that they have over there. So why would we be willing to spend all this money on Kirk Cousins when we can get our quarterback for cheap? Now, let's not even forget that you have 2 other quarterbacks on that roster that could be starters at any other team in the league primarily.
Would you be speaking of Teddy Bridgewater and Sam Bradford?
Yes.
Can we just go back to Case Keenum for one quick second?
Absolutely.
As I pile on top of your Case Keenum, fan awards. I'm in agreement. And for another thing, think about this. Case Keenum wasn't the number 1 guy at the beginning of the season.
Absolutely not.
So my thing is this. He didn't get all the number 1 reps, and he got you to the conference championship. He wasn't the number 1 starter coming into the season, and he got you to the conference championships. That being said, he started about, 10 games at least?
Mm-hmm.
Got you to conference championships. How many has Kirk Cousins started in that system?
None.
So even though he didn't start, even though he didn't get the first team reps, he was there in training camp. He knows that system. Along with that defense, and you have a quarterback that knows the system, that was that successful, and didn't get all 16 starts, and he got you to the conference championship, why would you not build on that?
Here's my question. I don't know the answer to this, but is Kirk Cousins really that good?
We'll find out.
Because if he was that good, wouldn't he have gotten the Redskins somewhere?
We'll find out, because my thing is this. Let's talk about some of the top quarterbacks in recent years. You have your Tom Brady's.
Mm-hmm.
You have your Drew Breeses.
Absolutely.
You have Peyton Manning.
Ben
Andrew Luck.
Roethlisberger. I would
Ben
put out there.
Roethlisberger, definitely. Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Bad man Aaron Rodgers. What do they all have in common except for Peyton Manning? All been on the same damn team for the same damn time, right? Same system, and for the most part, if I'm not mistaken, they've all had the same coach.
Yeah,
right.
Winners.
Peyton Manning is the only exception, but when he made the transition from Indianapolis to Denver, it was kind of understood. All right, Peyton bringing his offense with him. And we letting Peyton just go because Peyton knows what he's doing.
This is out of respect of him being Peyton Manning,
Exactly. So even though he went to Denver, he pretty much was still in that Indianapolis system. The way they ran the offense in Denver, you could tell it was still Peyton Manning, even when he was having the rocky season. But that being said, history has shown a quarterback in the same system for a number of years, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, with the same coach, same quarterback, same system, same coach. Doesn't matter who the running back is. Doesn't matter who the receivers are. The receivers come and adapt to the system that the quarterback already knows. When a quarterback knows a system like the back of his hand, I mean, the options are endless. Look at Matt Stafford.
Right.
I mean, he's soon to be number 2, but he's the number 1 paid quarterback in the NFL because he is in a situation where he's been in a system that he knows like the back of his hand. Megatron is gone. Everybody's like, oh, the Detroit Lions are going to suck. Matt Stafford was the highest paid quarterback after Megatron retired. He was still balling out. So, I mean, that speaks volumes. So, if you have somebody that's not that old, I mean, Case Keenum isn't, he's not.
He's no
22.
spring chicken.
He's not spring chicken, but he's not like 38.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, he's not like on the verge of, he's got one more good season left in him. He's got some years in him. He knows that system. He's proven that he can play in any situation. Why would you not look at him first to resign? I don't get it. Now, granted, I know him, Teddy Bridgewater, and Sam Bradford are all free agents, but I think they're going to come at a lot lesser of a price tag than Kirk Cousins. Am I correct?
Case Keenum is not going to break the bank for you. This guy, Cousins, you're going to have to pay him probably in excess of for him to sign, because remember, he's been franchised 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he's probably looking to be getting a contract a little higher than what was just given to I just drew a brain fart. Kid that just went to San Francisco.
Oh, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Garoppolo. Yeah, he's probably going to look to get that kind of money or more. Does he deserve it? Some people may think so, but
Been franchise tagged twice.
according to the body of work, he's been to the playoffs how many times? Once. And I'm not even
get the point.
and I'm not even counting the time when RG3 got hurt and then you came in. I'm not counting that.
I think you're right. I think he got in there one time.
But so realistically, for me to kind of disrupt what I've already had, just because we put him at quarterback doesn't mean that receiving tandem that they have over there in Minnesota is going to be any better. What's going to make them better is when they get Dalvin Cook back. That's going to make them better.
Yeah, let's not forget they did all this without Dalvin Cook, who is coming into his second season in the NFL, who is probably going to be in the talks for Rookie of the Year the way he was playing.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to do some of the things that like a Todd Gurley did this past year.
Definitely.
He'll be like probably, he's probably going to be one of those guys that can catch it out of the backfield, and he'll probably get somewhere near like I would say 700 yards receiving, depending on how many times he gets the ball thrown to him. It's just a no-brainer to me. I would go with Case Keenum, and the reason being is because I just look at how the team rallied behind him, and I looked at how the city rallied behind him.
And just for a reference point, Jimmy G is making 5 years, $137 million, an annual average of $27.4 million. I'm thinking Kirk Cousins is going to want something in, not probably at an exact number, but in the range of that.
I mean, that was about what he was making in franchise, right?
He made what, $28 million, right?
Yes. Yeah. So let's just be realistic. He's looking for 30.
Yeah. Who in their right mind, any job, I don't care if you work in the NFL, I don't care if you work at a Fortune 500 company, I don't care if you're a cashier at Walmart. If you make a certain number for 2 years straight and it's going up, you're not expecting to take a massive cut in the third year when your production is not changed. Your production is either the same or getting better. You don't expect your value to go down, so why should your price tag?
And now imagine how much he's going to want as a signing bonus.
Oh, my God.
That's going to be at least $80 million. At least guaranteed $80 million. Because what? Garoppolo got how much guaranteed? 70 something. I can't remember. But he's going to want 80.
Yo, Garoppolo, let me hold $1 million until Tuesday.
You got it.
I got 136 more.
But moving on right along from them, let's talk about the Rams. The Rams is making some moves too.
Yeah, they kind of shifting. I wouldn't say cleaning the house, but they're shifting around a little bit. They had a successful season. They finally got rid of the why is he still the coach guy in Jeff Fisher.
And the sad part about him is he'll probably find another job.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
He will. He'll be in the coaching carousel, as we like to call it. But the L.A. Rams have stated that they are trading Robert Quinn to the Miami Dolphins, one of their top linebackers. Now, when you hear that, you're like, oh, my God, they're trading Robert Quinn. You got to look at the money. Follow the money trail.
And how much is he against the cap?
He was going to be a $25 million cap hit over the next 2 seasons.
And you're wondering why they were getting rid of him.
Yep. 25 million reasons to figure out.
This is just what goes on in football. When you have such a cap hit, you're not going to be around. That's just the bottom line. Everybody's looking to, purge their rosters of the big numbers. And so if you have a great big number and you're not willing to restructure it, you're probably going to be one of those casualties.
Yeah. Speaking of cap numbers, they are also saying that they're going to be either trading or releasing wide receiver Tavon Austin, who they signed in 2016 to a 4-year, $42 million deal. He in 2015 he had I think he had over 1,000 yards in receiving and about I want to say on the higher end of 80 receptions.
Yeah.
Last year, 13 catches for 37 yards. 4 years, $42 million does not equal 13 catches for 47 yards. So that would be a reason why they are releasing him or trading him.
I think that they haven't used him properly since he's gotten into the league.
I think part of the reason is
Jeff Fisher,
and then also that you add in Robert Woods and Sammy Watkins.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now it's like, okay, we have Sammy Watkins who's proven outside of the injuries. We have Robert Woods who's somewhat proven outside of the injuries. And they both had pretty decent seasons. And I think Tavon Austin probably got relegated to special teams like he was in the past because he is a speed guy. He's very fast. And I agree. I don't think that Tavon Austin is washed up. I just think he might be one of those I'm in the need of a change of scenery type situations.
I think he really needs a change.
Chicago Bears are on the clock. We need a receiver.
What makes you think the Bills don't need one either?
Yeah, hey, wouldn't that be ironic? They lose both of their top receivers to the Rams and they get back Tavon Austin.
Yeah, somehow that doesn't amount to the same. But I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, if they release him, that work out because you wouldn't have to pay him all that money.
Right.
You know?
And we're not even mentioning that Marcus Peters came from the Chiefs and went to the Rams.
Really interesting.
And I'm interested in hearing about why, the Chiefs would be willing to give him up, him being one of the better corners.
Yeah.
So,
I'm wondering, was that like another cap move or?
Could be. I think, I don't know. I haven't heard, what the cap ramifications were with him. But to me, from the outside looking in, it seems to me like it's more so of a disruption in the locker room type of scenario. Okay. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm leaning towards.
I'm going to shift gears a little bit, but staying right in line with the Tavon Austin rumors of trade or release, the confirmed trade of Robert Quinn. The Seattle Seahawks are also attempting to trade Michael Bennett. Same thing. He's going to count $7.4 million against the cap, including a $3 million roster bonus that's due on the 18th of this month, on 18th of March. And that's basically when the trade or release is likely to come by March 18th. So within the next 2.5 weeks, Michael Bennett will probably not be a Seattle Seahawk anymore.
Now, is this the beginning of the dismantling of the Legion of Boom?
Well, technically, the Legion of Boom is the secondary.
Correct. But he is a big part of that defense.
A big part of that
defense. So
defense.
I believe if once you let him go, I think we're going to see a domino effect. I personally, I see Richard Sherman leaving soon. I see them giving up on Richard Sherman.
I see the writing on the wall.
And then once that happens, I think the whole secondary's gone.
Yeah.
From Earl Thomas to, the whole bunch of them. So.
And I brought those three stories up in succession to bring this next story up. Are NFL contracts trash?
Yeah.
But let me bring it one step further. And this is one epiphany I just had. This is not on our outline. Do the NFL front offices need to hire consultants from the NBA? Because the NBA doesn't seem to get these cap issues messed up.
Well, I think what it is with them is the NFL, whoever is on the players' side, the union people, Demarius Smith or whatever his name is, but they just dropped the ball. They gave the owners way too much control. They've allowed Goodell to just run things the way he sees fit because when he makes decisions, he's just making decisions that he feels are good decisions. Like some of the things that he does, there's never like a precedent with it.
But my thing is this. Granted, I know there's less people on an NBA roster than there's an NFL roster. I know there's, the way the NFL works and the way the NBA works are slightly different. But my thing is this. A number is a number, right?
True.
A budget is a budget, right?
True.
A balance is a balance, right? At the end of the day, your job is to stay in the black and not go in the red.
Right.
So why is it that Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, James Harden, and the likes of them can sign a contract for $200+ million guaranteed, yet the people doing the budgets in the NBA know 5 years down the line how much salary cap they're going to have available, whereas in the NFL, they seem to just keep getting it wrong and have to cut people and have to release people, have to make these trades because of the cap hit. Why can't they just project out like the NBA and Major League Baseball and hockey does? I don't ever hear anybody talking about cap hits in the NBA. They pay a luxury tax. We're going to pay the luxury tax because we want that player.
Guaranteed money against non-guaranteed money, there's a big difference. I mean, like I think that the NFL kind of uses the salaries as a way to mask the fact that they want to get rid of someone.
Yeah.
Like you may look at like the Chiefs. They're busy getting rid of everybody.
Yeah.
You know, is it that there's cap ramifications, or is it that, you know, certain things haven't worked in the last 5 years, so we're going to try to go in a different direction, but we don't want to, you know, alienate fans by saying that, you know, coach wants to do this or GM wants to do this, you know, so we can just, you know, hide behind the fact that we can say, you know what, he's costing this much amongst the cap, and we're gonna get rid of him.
Man, I think they need better books people. I think you need better accountants, something, because, I mean, this is crazy. All the money they're making in the NFL, yet they're worried about cap hits. How come the NBA owners?
What they need is better negotiators and a stronger union leader that'll say, you know what, we're the players, we're the ones that are out there on the field that are pushing the brand. We need a little more compensation for this, and that. I mean, you would think that because, you know, this is the one sport that plays the shortest season. You know, there's only, you know, it's a 16-game regular season or whatever. And the lifespan for a football player is now, what, 3.5 years, right?
Yeah. And
it's because of this. You know, we can just cut you. You know, see, the NBA, they did it differently. You know, we can buy you out.
Yeah.
You know,
but that has to be negotiated too.
Right. But at least the buyout, you know, the player still wins, because then the player can get released.
At worst case scenario,
and
you're walking with 80% of your money,
and can pick what team they want to go to next.
Exactly.
When a player's basically, you know, cut from an NFL roster, it might be hell or high water if they get picked up by somebody. They don't get to make the choices. They got to go on the Chitlin circuit. Oh, today Andy's going to go visit the Cardinals. Tomorrow he's going to go see the Saints. You know, and
it becomes the NFL combine with NFL players.
And what happens
mid-season?
What happens is you turn yourself into like the situation that Adrian Peterson got into last year, where he signs with the Saints. You know, because they're the ones who offered him the most money. But then when he gets there, you see that they're going in a whole different direction, and you may not have been a good fit for them. So,
hello, Arizona.
I think it's a lose-lose with the NFL.
I agree.
You just stated something a minute ago. You don't even realize what you were talking about. You mentioned combines. Mm-hmm. Have you been watching that?
Watched a little bit. I did catch that little blurb about Mr. Saquon Barkley from formerly of Penn State. He's a little fast.
And he can jump high. 43-inch vert. I didn't expect that from a 230-pound running back.
Okay, let's see. Let me do my math. 12, 24, 36 is 3 feet. 42 is 3.5 feet. You get where I'm going.
He's jumping the size of, what, second graders?
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
From a vertical.
And this is a running back.
Yeah.
This is a
how
running
much
back.
You say you weigh?
I've heard 230. I'm thinking maybe anywhere from 230 to 245. Maybe.
Man, I'm 212 right now, and if I could do like an 18-inch vertical right now, I'm happy.
I used to have a 40-inch vertical. It's probably about 20-something now.
Yeah.
I'm not jumping nowhere no more. But I think
my
Saquon Barkley
is
making a great play as to being the number one pick. If I'm the Browns, I don't see how you can let him not be the number one pick. He's clearly better than any of these quarterbacks who you deem as franchise quarterbacks. He's definitely ready to play now. He doesn't need that much seasoning.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have the number 4 pick. So if you pick him at 1, you still get the quarterback you want at 4, because that'll force the hand of, like, the Giants. The Giants would love to take him. They would love to take, you know, Barkley. But if he's not there, they'll probably go with a quarterback who's not going to play for another 2 years.
Yeah.
And depending on which quarterback they take, may not even be the best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah. And let me big up Saquon Barkley a little bit more. I don't know if you heard what I said a little bit earlier. I said my 40-inch vertical was back in the high school days when I was 135. This dude is 230 pounds with a 40-inch vertical at the running back position.
God
he can run the ball.
Bless.
He can catch out of the backfield, and he can play special teams and return kicks.
You know what that means? That means you will probably see him, you know, running, getting the pitch running, and then he's going to jump over somebody.
Is that not what Cleveland needs?
Cleveland needs that. They need everything they can get, man.
If they can get Saquon Barkley and keep Josh Gordon.
See, now here's the thing. What sense does it make for them to get a quarterback
Not
and they
at
don't
one.
have? I'm saying, what difference does it make if they get the quarterback at number 1 and they don't get the running back or the running game?
Yeah, quarterback needs weapons. Hello,
You're
Mr. Trubisky.
You're picking 4. You will get a quarterback at 4.
There's 8 prospects at quarterback in
You
this
will
draft.
get a great quarterback, so to speak, at 4.
There's 8 prospects. So my thing is this: if you have the first pick and the 4th pick, worst case scenario, if 2 and 3 draft quarterbacks, you get the 3rd best quarterback out of 8. That's not bad, and you still have Deshaun Kaiser,
and you could trade the pick.
Yeah.
They're in the driver's seat, but if it's me, my mind's already made up after this combine. It's already made up.
However, there are talks that the Browns would consider trading the pick, and that they will meet with all the quarterbacks of the NFL Combine.
I mean, what do you expect? We are talking about the Browns.
Yeah, it could be smoke. It could be blowing some smoke. It could just be because obviously my thing is this: you have the number 1 pick and the number 4 pick. You'd be stupid not to listen.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
So, if somebody wants to make that monumental leap for one of these quarterbacks, that's gonna,
It's not gonna come cheap.
And I can see it being the Jets. I can see the Jets just pulling the trigger and saying,
Just
you know
throw
what,
it in the bag.
we need this player, we need that. But also the Jets could make the play for number 1 and take Barkley as well.
Yeah.
With Matt Forte, I know you shed a tear when you see he retired.
It's so hard.
And the thing about him was, I didn't realize how great his numbers were. I already knew he was a great player, but
so
his
efficient,
numbers. And here's the bad part about it. To me, he has Hall of Fame numbers,
and he's durable too. Like you hear that, when a running back turns 30, it's a wrap. He is highly consistent. He's not the most blazing of speed having running back, but he's fast.
Yeah,
and he catches out of the backfield, and he's elusive. He's not Clinton Portis, Barry Sanders elusive, but he doesn't take a lot of those crushing blows.
Right. And it usually takes more than one person to bring him down.
Exactly. He's stronger than you would think he is.
Well, let me give you this question: is he a Hall of Famer?
Matt Forte? Absolutely. He might not be first ballot, but he's a Hall of Famer.
And I agree, because I'm sure if we look up the numbers, he's going to have better numbers than Terrell Davis. And Terrell Davis is a Hall of Famer off of just purely 4 years. I think he's just off of 4 years, but I personally would say that he has better numbers than him.
I would probably say so as well, and I think he's had a longer career than Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis, he has the Super Bowls and everything like that, but his career was kind of short.
Yes, it was.
Forte has been playing since 2008. It's 2017. He's 32. And, shout out to Tulane, his alma mater. He has 9,796 yards in his career, rushing. 54 touchdowns. And only 15 fumbles in 2,356 attempts. That's huge. Receiving. Now, remember, 9,796 yards rushing in his career. 4,672 receiving yards in his career. 554 receptions. 7 fumbles. 554 receptions and only 7 fumbles. I don't know. I'm gonna assume those are Hall of Fame numbers, man. And look at this. I think this is the most telling sign. Games played. 2008, 16. 2009 and 2010, 16. 2011, 12. 2012, 15. 2013 and 2014, 16. 2015, 13. 2016, 14. 2017, 12. He has not missed less than 12 games.
Durability?
Exactly.
Yes, he has to get in.
He's got to be a Hall of Fame.
He's got to get in.
Like I said, he might not be first round, but I mean first ballot, but there have been a lot of top Hall of Fame caliber players who weren't first ballot. He's not LaDainian Tomlinson first ballot. Right. He's not Barry Sanders first ballot. Right. He's not Walter Payton first ballot. But he's a Hall of Famer.
How many ballots did it? And it seems like I'm picking on Terrell Davis. I am, but how many ballots did it take him?
I'm not even sure.
I think he was the first ballot. I don't know.
Ah.
It's just, I get it. You had a 2,000-yard season. I get it that you had 2 Super Bowl wins. But that's just not enough for me, man.
With Terrell Davis, I always look at it like this, too. When Terrell Davis retired, the 5 years after he retired all produced 5 straight 1,000-yard rushing running back.
It was the line. It
Yeah.
wasn't him. It's the
You
line.
had Orlandis
They could have put
Gary.
me back there.
You had Mike Anderson. You had Reuben Drones. You had Quentin Griffin. And you had Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis is a bad man, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, 5 straight years, 5 different running backs. They all rushed for 1,000 yards. And they all ended up getting deals. Because I know Mike Anderson went to Baltimore. Orlandis Gary went to Detroit. Reuben Drones, I forget where he went first, but he ended up in Cleveland and the Giants. Then he went to the Giants first and went to Cleveland. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, everybody got a check as a result of that Denver Broncos line.
Things that make you say,
But, yeah, NFL contracts are trash. The Browns need to do better at drafting, and Matt Forte is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
If Terrell Davis was. Matt Forte is.
Now, keeping along with the theme of the Combine.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
The story of the Combine has to be Shaquem Griffin.
Yeah.
He's the linebacker that has one arm. Well, not one arm, one hand. He does have the other arm, but he has a prosthesis on the other arm, on the left arm. Do you know what this kid did on the bench press? Now, mind you, he had one of those prostheses with like the hook hand that was it was connected to the bar, right? 20 reps of 225. 20 reps if you need them. 20.
Man, I got both hands and can't do 20 reps at 225.
20
and I
reps.
can get 225.
Hey, and made it look easy with the 20 reps. Not only did he just do that. Now picture this, if you will. You're a track coach.
Yes, I am.
How difficult do you think it would be to run with perfect form if you're running and you only have one arm? Like your other arm doesn't have the hand, so you can't hold the hand straight like this with the form. You just have all the way to like the wrist. How tough would that be to run like that?
I'm going to say you should still be able to run, but there is going to be that whole balance thing. It's a good
Exactly. So that would take – how much would you say, like, if you had, let's say, Usain Bolt, who's been running whatever times he's ran, but then you take off one of his hands?
Well, let me break it down a little bit further. When we're talking about sprinters, one of the main things we always like to teach our sprinters, head up, chest up, knee up, toe up, right? You want to be running in line. You want to be driving the feet underneath the hips to generate power and force from the ground, right? You want to use your power in your legs to generate an equal opposite force from the ground. Mm-hmm. So you're basically pushing yourself along to be faster. Your head is 8 pounds, right? Give or take on the average human being.
Never heard that.
No, this is facts. This is facts. You got an 8-pound head on top of a fast-moving body, right? You tip that head to the left or to the right while you're trying to run as fast as possible in a straight line, it's going to throw your balance off, right?
Right.
Now, people are going to say, okay, yeah, he doesn't have a hand. It might throw his balance off a little bit. But we're talking about sprints, right? We're talking about tenths and hundredths of a second.
Yes.
Balance with tenths of a hundredths of a second is a lot. Where a miler or a 2-mile runner or somebody running a marathon, if they knock off 10 seconds off their time, oh my God, that's a huge PR.
Right.
If you knock off 0.2 of a second in a sprint, you're running around like you won the Olympics.
Yeah.
If you go from 10.6 to 10.4, that is huge. If you go from 10.66 to 10.58, that's huge. In sprints, it's a small factor, but when you're talking about a shorter race, it makes a lot of a difference. So him having to run the 40 time, and you're talking about tenths and hundredths of a second, it's gonna make that much more of a difference. If he was a marathon runner, I wouldn't really stress it that much.
Right.
But we're talking about the NFL. We're talking about the combine.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about where speed matters. They want to know how fast is he, in the 40-yard dash and blah, blah, blah. For that measurable, him not having a hand is going to make a difference.
Now, mind you, this man is his position is not running back. I'm so sorry, linebacker, right?
Yeah.
So tell me what you guess his 40 would be.
Typical linebacker, I'm thinking like 4.6 if he's great, 4.7.
He ran a 4.38 if you need him.
They said that was the fastest time for a linebacker in what? How long? How many decades?
Man, I don't care how long it was. It's one thing to hear the time, but it was something else, to see it. Now, you could look right there because we're in front of monitors, by the way. But you could look right there. Look how the form looks with just the one arm.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's not
this
easy.
kid. I mean, if anything, this kid should be an inspiration to anybody who maybe have a defect or any kids that's been picked on in their life and things of that nature. Look to him. He's a role model already.
Yeah.
Already.
The 40-yard dash is shorter than any race in track and field, indoor and outdoor included. So you have a short amount of time to execute perfect explosion out of your three-point stance, perfect form, perfect drive out of your stance. There's no starting blocks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're not on a track surface. You don't have track spikes on. You got cleats on. So you have to execute all these things that track athletes have to execute, but on turf, in cleats, in the three-point stance, in 40 yards. I mean, that's remarkable if you ask me. 4.38. The last fastest linebacker in the 40 was John Alston from Stanford. He ran a 4.4 in 2006, 12 years ago.
See?
That's the most recent we can talk about with speed like that. That's crazy.
I mean, I'm a betting man, so I'm willing to bet that he's going to make somebody's roster. I don't know. I think he should be picked up at least by the 4th round.
Yeah, definitely.
Or if not sooner.
And not only that, I've seen him play in college. I remember there was the talks of he didn't have a hand. He's playing linebacker. This dude can hit. This dude can tackle like. It's almost like he's cheating because he had no hand because he can get to people so fast and hit people. You can't even tell that he has any type of like defect in his game when he's tackling. So I think he's just top prospect alone, and you add in the fact that he has one hand, that makes it even more, appealing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's a role model at this point, man. I mean, think about it. If you were to wake up, yesterday and somebody told you that somebody with one arm is going to run a 4.38 and they're going to put 20 reps at 225.
My thing is this, too. That's more impressive if you ask me. One hand, 225, 20 times?
You got to.
I'd be scared as I don't know what.
Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and maybe YouTube the footage. I'm telling you, when you see him lifting the weight, and how effortlessly he did it, you'll be amazed. Because at first, to the people that don't know about him, you probably don't recognize that he doesn't have a hand because, like I said, it was connected to a prosthesis that was already connected to the bar. But when you see how he's just effortlessly lifting this weight, you'd be amazed. I'm telling you, he's an inspiration to everybody, not just sports people. I mean, this just goes to show you that don't let anybody tell you what you can or you cannot do.
Yeah.
We can always go past our limitations as we're watching it,
Yeah, we're actually watching it right now.
Now,
do you
see how he has to make sure that part is clicked in?
Yeah.
And it doesn't even look like it's fastened in that much. And look, when the bar is like leaning, it's not leaning on the side what doesn't have the hand.
Yeah, it's leaning on the hand side.
And look how easily he is doing this. I wish you guys were watching this with us.
This is crazy.
Maybe we should put the footage on the banner when we send the podcast out.
I'll put the link in description. Definitely. I'm gonna put this link in description. And he is like, this is ridiculous.
And look how he just holds it up there. Look,
And the form is like, oh, that's crazy. 20 reps.
Look, see, now he has to unadjust the prosthesis. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
20 reps at 225.
And look at like it's
He's
nothing.
walked up
He's
like,
walking
yeah,
away
yeah.
like, yeah, all right, yeah.
All
Somebody,
right, I
all
did.
right, you next. Look. How would you like to be number 16? You want to go after that?
You know?
No, whatever you do, nobody's checking for you.
My thing is this. If I'm a linebacker and I don't get at least 21 reps now, I'm a failure.
Now we can see why Central Florida was such a good team last year.
Yeah, that's true.
They had him. And then, ironically, he has a twin brother who plays corner for the
Yeah, Shaquille
Seattle,
Griffin.
Seahawks. Yeah.
You want to hear an interesting stat? His twin brother, who was a rookie with the Seahawks this year, ran a 4.3 at the combine last year.
Damn. I wonder what their parents ran when they were their age.
I know, right? Talk about twinning.
They probably weren't even given the times like that back then. Like, what was your time? My time was haul ass. He just
For real,
haul ass
for real.
fast. You know, one of those kind of times, man. But
I think I ran a 4.5, and I was a receiver in high school.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, after I watched that footage, I said to myself, when I go to work tomorrow, I am playing that footage for some of the kids that I work with.
I'm playing that for my track team
Just,
that doesn't like
just
to
so
lift.
that they know there's no limitations in life.
Anybody who doesn't like to lift weights, I'm playing that.
If you want it bad enough, you will get it.
Yeah, you have to will yourself to it. I mean, nobody's gonna give it to you, and you have to earn it.
And I definitely have a kid that he has a prosthesis leg, and I love the fact that the kids don't treat him any kind of way, and I love the fact that he does everything that they do. He hoops, he plays football, he played hockey for us, everything. I definitely got to show him that because he already said that his dream was to either go to the NFL or the NBA and be the first athlete without with just one leg.
That'd be crazy.
So yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
If
So
somebody can do it with one hand, why couldn't he?
So we definitely got to show Tyreek that tomorrow, man.
Yeah. But yeah, just to wrap up the whole NFL thing, NFL contracts are trash. This is the time of the season when everybody's cutting salary. The combine is crazy. And the Colts are not going to re-sign Frank Gore. Surprise?
No, because this is just NFL business.
Yeah. He's up there in age, so
I do think he will get on somebody's roster.
Yeah, definitely.
He's very serviceable. I mean, I remember, when they played against the Bills in the snowstorm game, and he had 100 and something yards. He's a durable back. Definitely, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Fame.
Representing the U. He's not the San Francisco Frank Gore, but he can definitely help somebody. Hey, I mean, Cleveland Browns draft Saquon
Absolutely.
Barkley, pick him up. It could not hurt. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But the last thing to just tie this all together and wrap up the NFL talk. If the Broncos, Cardinals, Jets, and Vikings are the finalists, and we both agree that the Vikings need to calm that talk down
Yeah, they need to
about
back
Kirk
out.
Cousins, where does Kirk Cousins fit the best? Broncos, Cardinals, or Jets?
I would say the Broncos, because the Broncos notorious for having decent lines. They already have receivers there. They have
Yep.
Thomas and Sanders there already. I mean, yeah, I think that's the best place for him. They have a tight end.
And not only that,
They keep a plethora of running backs, as we've already
that
stated.
defense alone would be it'd be stupid not to go. Denver Broncos defense, I mean, granted, the offense was a little stagnant this year, so the defense doesn't look as good as it has in past years. But if you get the offense rolling with that defense,
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer. That's the only thing the Broncos, I think, were missing, a quarterback.
Right. Now, mind you, if he wants to just secure the bag, then the
New
Jets
York
would be,
Jets are on
would
the
be-
clock.
Jets would be the place to go to.
Yeah.
But this is the one thing that I haven't heard anybody say about him. I think that New York media will tear him up. They will tear him up the minute he's the reason they're losing.
You like that, don't you?
You like that? You like that, don't you? No, we don't.
That's not going to work in New York.
And then especially, you got to go up against, the other locker room, the Giants,
Exactly.
So,
But not only that, if he goes to New York, it's because of the bag. So you got to justify that bag in every single interview.
yeah,
Every single interview.
just secure the bag, bro. Secure the bag.
Yeah. If you want the bag, go to the Jets and just get that guaranteed money.
Yeah.
But moving along, we'll move along to the NBA.
Let me wet my palate real quick with this sponsor.
Yeah, definitely. It's smooth. It's very special. It's a cognac. And Gordon Hayward is probably going to be able to sip a little bit of cognac because Brad Stevens has ruled him out for the rest of the year.
I think that's a good move. I think that's a good move. I mean, the team has blended in very well without him. No need to rush back, because when they do get him back next year, they're going to be that much better, with him. But I just like the fact that because he wasn't there, you saw, a little bit of more development from the younger players.
Yeah.
So, like a Tatum. He might not have developed this quickly if
Jaylen Brown
he was there. You know what? Jaylen Brown,
he's a problem.
Is going to be the X factor in the playoffs for them.
You know who else I like too, and I keep calling him Keith Murray. Rozier, yeah. Rozier's a baller.
Terry Rozier. Shout out to my guy, Damon McFarland, because he always was telling, Rozier, I'm telling you, man. Watch him, Andy.
He was
balling
in the playoffs last year.
I'm listening. This the dude is just, he has a hunger that you don't usually see from somebody that young. You don't. So he reminds me of a less seasoned type of, Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, I can see that.
So yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's a good move for Gordon Hayward. Let him get that whole training camp. Let him come back 100% healthy. Don't try and rush him back for the playoffs when you're already number one and number two maybe you're in the top three in the East.
Right.
Your outlook is good for the playoffs. Don't disrupt the team chemistry. Just try and rush him back and then try and force and acclimate him back into the offense. When you can just let him sit back, get 100% healthy. He's there. He's learning the offense. It's just kind of like how we said Ben Simmons, even though he's a rookie, he was kind of cheating because he had the whole NBA experience.
I mean, he traveled and he got a taste of the NBA life. So by the time he actually stepped on the floor, it wasn't ready. Something new. It wasn't foreign to him. It wasn't something that you had to safeguard him about. He got to watch and see what it was last year, and he's not making those same mistakes this year.
And I think Gordon Hayward is going to have that same Boston experience. Because he's getting that Boston experience. He's sitting, watching the games with Boston. He's watching the practices with Boston. He's seeing how everything moves in Boston. So I think that's going to just help him. He'll be ready to go for next year.
And the thing about it is, out of all the coaches in the NBA, with the exception of maybe Popovich and Steve Kerr, I trust Brad Stevens the most out of any other coach.
Brad Stevens knows his stuff.
He's probably the best X's and O's coach. Like, after a timeout, the plays that he runs, that he maps up, oh my goodness. I don't think anybody's better.
Definitely not Fred Hoiberg. But speaking of players with injuries, do we want to get into Kawhi Leonard? Pause.
Might as well. You know what? Okay. So, he was medically cleared to play in December.
Yep.
Decided that, for whatever reason, and they're saying that it's his uncle who kind of plays the part of.
I think he's kind of like his agent,
not his agent,
his
but
buffer.
Probably like a motivator type person. The person that he seeks. He's information
an NBA
for.
agent-like substance,
right? The guy he trusts.
Yeah.
So, but he's making statements like, okay, well, Kawhi's not happy and everything. And I think that he's probably speaking for himself because he feels as though the fact that Kawhi's not one of the vocal superstars, that since he's not going to, sing his own praises or toot his own horns, that he has to do that for him. And I just think it's just basically posturing to get San Antonio to get different pieces that Kawhi needs that could sustain him for a long time.
Yeah, because let's be real. NBA is still basketball. No matter what level it is, it's a basketball game. You got 5 players. It's a team sport. People need help, all right? Let's keep it real. LeBron needed help. Durant needed help. Westbrook needed help. Kobe needed help. Shaq needed help. You go on down the line. Magic and Jordan needed help. Did they go out and get, they might have been different in the 80s and the 90s. They didn't go out and get, like, the top free agent available to help them out. But Jordan needed Pippen. Luckily, they drafted Pippen.
Absolutely.
They needed to go out and get a Robin. They needed a Judd Bushler. They needed a Bill Wennington. They needed
a Steve Kerr.
They needed a Tony Kukoc. They needed all these pieces in place. Okay, I'm doing all the scoring. I'm locking up the number one person on the other team. But I need 4 people that are going to get the rebounds. I need people to pass to when I'm double and triple teamed. I need somebody in that corner that can hit for the open shot. Everybody needs help. Kawhi Leonard's no different. And even as great as San Antonio's been, they haven't won a championship in a while.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to win a championship. So,
yeah, like I said, the NBA is the league where you say, what have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
So, now my question is, do you give him the max contract if you're San Antonio? I say yes because I don't see.
How can you not?
I don't see any way that they can survive in the league if they don't keep him on that team.
I agree. And then just look what he's done statistically. Look what he's done off of the statistics, just the things that you don't see in the stats. Look at those things like it's in the stats how many points he scores. It's in his stats how many minutes he plays. It's in the stats how many steals he gets, how many rebounds. It's not in the stats how many games he's doing all the scoring while guarding the best player on the other team. That's never in the stat book. But he goes out and does
basically negating them.
Yeah.
Negating them.
Or canceling them out.
I mean, let's not forget what he did with LeBron.
Yeah.
When LeBron was in Miami and they won that championship.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
he's not just standing in front of the guy.
I understand that San Antonio operates in a certain way, manner, and fashion. But at some point, they're going to have to acquiesce to him. He's in the driver's seat in this one.
Yeah.
So I think that, cooler heads will prevail. I think Popovich will just be like, you know what? Whatever he needs. And everything will be right.
And let's go back just to the injury itself. It could be posturing, but my thing is this. I think back to more recently the Isaiah Thomas injury while he was in Boston. He got hurt in the finals. He couldn't play for the rest of the finals. It was an injury that had already occurred earlier in the season that he re-injured with his hip. He played through an injury with his hip. He re-injured it in the time when he was needed most crucial in the NBA conference finals. And he wasn't able to finish the finals, and then Cleveland ends on going to the championship.
So went the chances of Boston. See, and I think that plays a little part in this too. I think Kawhi looked and said, you know what? Here's a guy here that gave the city of Boston everything he had.
Yep.
Even after he lost his sister, which, let's face it, many of us would have probably played, but may not have played at that level, or some of us may not have even played at all after you lose somebody as close as that to you. But he put it all out there for the city of Boston, and for them to do him like that was
and now he's on this
kind of a letdown.
Now he's on his third team in less than a year.
And, and he doesn't look back. And let me say this.
Yep.
Because as I know you're a Laker fan as
Yes.
well as I am. If we were in the East, we'd have a chance at the 8th seed.
Definitely.
But I think we have a chance at being 500 for the year.
I believe so, too.
And shame on all you cynics and critics who fail to give Lonzo Ball the credit that he deserves as soon as he came off of the injury. Do you realize he's shooting 68% from three?
And when he came back, we won 3 straight games.
And do you realize he's shooting over 50% from the field?
Yep.
On top of the assists and rebounds that he's giving you. And everybody compares him to like Dennis Smith Jr. I'd like you guys to look at his stats and see how comparable they are to him. It's just that he's not on the biggest stage where he can make all the mistakes and not be scrutinized.
Let me also ask you
we're
this.
going to need the father, LeVar. You're going to have to relax.
Yeah.
You got to relax. Got to relax. Let the boy play. Just relax.
Yeah. Be easy. And let me say this, too. Let's also remember, Lonzo Ball is not being compared to Michael Jordan. Lonzo Ball is not being compared to LeBron James. He's not being compared to Kevin Durant. He's being compared to Jason Kidd. Let him be the Jason Kidd-like player. He's a facilitator. He's a point guard. We don't need him to drop 38 a night. We need him to drop 15, maybe 20 when he's hot. We need them assists. We need those rebounds. We need him to be that triple-double machine.
Yeah, we need him to just be able to create better shots for some of the other players that can't create for themselves. Find Lopez when he's open. Get Caldwell Pope the ball, in his spot. A guy like Ingram can make his own shot. We don't have to worry about that. We also don't have to worry about a Randall creating his own shot. Exactly. Though he dribbles and does too much with the ball, but I just love the energy that he brings. Lonzo Ball is what we need for where we're going.
And let's be honest, as a Laker fan, my biggest knock on the Lakers, who's been our greatest point guard since Magic Johnson? Nick Van Exel?
Whoa. I would think so. Well, I would say Derek Fisher only because he won.
Derek Fisher won, but like
I said only because they won.
Yeah, but if we're talking about just straight up point guard skills,
Nick Van Exel by far.
Who
by
else?
Far.
Take away
Smush Parker.
You see what I'm saying? That's what we've been lacking.
See how
Since
we're
Magic
going?
Johnson, we've been lacking in the point guard play, and Lonzo Ball is exactly what we need: a true throwback to the point guard in the element of a Jason Kidd.
A shoot second type guy.
Yeah.
A pass first.
When he shoots, he's going to hit that shot, but he's not looking to shoot. He's looking to win. And that's all we need. LeVar, just be quiet. People stop trying to say, oh, well, he only dropped 15 points. We don't need him to if we win. If we win and he drops 9 points, I don't care. Matter of fact,
5 wins in a row if you need us.
Matter of fact, as much as I've joked about this man in the history of my critiques on NBA and college players, we need him to be Mateen Cleaves.
No. Well, okay, Mateen Cleaves at
Michigan. At Michigan, definitely.
Yeah,
we need him to be. We need him to be the solid.
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Mateen Cleaves in college was a point guard. I mean, granted, I'm not a Mateen Cleaves fan. But.
Maybe a Khalid El Amin. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? It just be that.
Let's just go back to Jason Kidd. We'll just stay with Jason Kidd. That'll be the
can't go wrong with him.
Can't go wrong.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah. But going back to Kawhi, like I also bring up the fact I brought up Isaiah Thomas's injury because I want to go back a little bit further.
Okay.
They had this guy. He's a pretty good player out of Duke. You might have heard of him, Grant Hill.
Yeah.
Didn't he have like a similar issue with an injury that he played through and then found out later on he was misdiagnosed?
Yes.
The ankle injury in Detroit.
We were robbed of such a great player. Oh,
this dude had an ankle injury in Detroit that he played through.
Have you seen what his ankle looks like?
No.
Oh, my God.
Probably
you might want to Google that later.
Yeah. I'll not do that for the sake of the podcast, and we don't want to hear screams and blood.
Do that after the podcast. But
Yeah.
It doesn't
be traumatizing.
Good. It doesn't look good, and the Skyrim's going to look a little worse because he's light skinned. But
yeah. And then he went to Orlando and didn't play a complete season.
Could you imagine if him and McGrady would have played there?
And that's when T-Mac was in his prime.
They both would have been in their prime.
And that's another thing, too. Every time Grant Hill came back, it wasn't the fact that he looked like he couldn't play. He was balling. He just couldn't do it for more than 30 games.
Yeah.
Like, he'd come back out, and he'd be the Grant Hill that we all know and love, but just he couldn't stay healthy. And I look at it like with Kawhi, maybe he's thinking, okay, yeah, I'm medically cleared to play, but my leg still doesn't feel right. I don't feel like I can do the things that I can do.
I think he's looking for more so for his future, and he doesn't want to, he knows that he has, a contract coming up, and he doesn't want to do anything to inhibit it. He doesn't. You mentioned Isaiah Thomas earlier. Isaiah's in a contract year.
Yeah.
And just by him playing, I think he came back too early in Cleveland.
Yep.
And I think by doing that, he's cost himself millions of dollars.
Definitely.
And the fact that it didn't work in Cleveland and, you
took a media hit in the PR
because he was being too vocal in that locker room.
Too early.
There's no reason why you should be speaking on anything and you haven't won anything there. So I think that's going to screw him up. He's definitely not getting a max contract.
No, absolutely not.
So I don't know what the future is for him. I don't think it's going to be in L.A., but, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe a team like maybe a Utah can use him or somebody like that, and I don't even see Utah being able to use him. They already have, Mitchell there that can do everything, and they basically have a pass-first point guard in Rubio, so I don't know.
Maybe Phoenix. Maybe you go back to Phoenix.
I think he has to go back out east, where the East is is not as run and gunnish.
Yeah.
Maybe you know what? Maybe he can go to a team like, say, I would like to see him at like the Sixers. Let him run the point at the Sixers, maybe.
And then let Ben just play the power.
Yeah. And then maybe he can come off the bench as well. Maybe he can go to like a Miami and come off the bench there. You know, there's plenty of teams in the East that could use him. I just don't. The way that they play in the West, I don't see where he fits in the West. Maybe the Clippers. But I don't see as long as Doc is there, I don't see it.
If you want a ring and a pay cut, go to the Warriors.
Speaking on Doc, did you hear the latest rumor about him?
On who?
Doc Rivers.
The latest rumor is
that he may be trying to position himself to be the next coach in New York. Knicks, that is.
I have heard that.
Everybody's like, I think that'd be a great fit. To which I say, if that's a great fit, then why didn't you offer it to Mark Jackson? Because that seems like it's a better fit.
And that's what everybody's been pushing for. Everybody says Mark Jackson to the Knicks would be the perfect thing to happen.
Well, because the way I look at it is I think it's a better fit because Mark Jackson likes to play the younger talent, whereas Doc likes to play the veterans and not so much the younger talent.
He likes to play the younger son talent.
I think because his wife's saying, like, listen here, you better
set him up for life.
Yeah, you better put him in there.
Yeah,
and that's not to say that he's not an NBA player.
He's not a starter.
I don't know. I just think that he's been afforded certain things because of where he is and who his father is. I think he's an NBA player, but I don't think he deserves as much money as he's getting and much playing time as he's getting. That's just all. That's just all. But,
I agree.
But
I think Mark Jackson would be a great fit. 1, he's from New York. 2, he went to St. John's. 3, he started his career as a New York Knick. 4, he's proved himself in the coaching room because let's make no mistake about it. As great as the Golden State Warriors were, they were trash until Mark Jackson got there.
Let's not forget, he's the one that pulled the trigger and said, I need Draymond Green.
Yeah.
He's the one that said, we need to acquire Andre Iguodala. So those two moves alone, the way that team looks without those two, no championships.
I almost compare Mark Jackson to Tony Dungy, whereas Tony Dungy set up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for Chucky to win.
Yeah,
pretty much. And it seems like Mark Jackson got the Warriors in position. Steve Kerr came along and had a well-oiled machine ready to go and took him over the hump. But Mark Jackson in New York would definitely, in my opinion, be a better fit than Doc Rivers. Where would Doc Rivers be a good fit at? Memphis?
I think, because Memphis does have a few veterans there. I think he could turn them around.
Yeah, he likes to play vets, so I think that would be a good fit. He could take his son with him.
Right. In all actualities, because he doesn't like to play the younger people, I think for him, I think he needs to go out east.
Yeah.
I think he definitely needs to go out east. Personally, if you're not totally sold on the guy who replaced Jason Kidd in Milwaukee, that's the place. That's the place. They have certain things that are already there. You have, the Greek Freak. You have younger people. Middleton. You're already a contender.
I'm kind of biased though, because I'm gonna say if you
Where
don't
would
like
you him?
If you don't like, no, I'm not even talking about Doc Rivers anymore.
Okay.
Because I got Doc Rivers in Memphis for a reason. Because if I'm talking about Milwaukee, who's already got pieces in place, and you don't like the guy who replaced Jason Kidd, I'm going with the guy that got replaced in Memphis, Fizdale.
Yeah. Which is he's a very interesting subject as well because Magic is really into him. Magic really wants him, and I understand that Magic's regime is not the regime that picked Luke Walton, but Luke Walton is able to reach these young players better than anybody.
Not far removed.
And that's why I say he's able to reach them. And just look at the way they're playing now.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else could have really handled this situation as well as him.
The only issue with Luke Walton is seen through the eyes of LeVar Ball.
Yeah.
So who cares? You know what I mean? Like, other than that, I don't see any issues with Luke Walton. And let's make no mistake about it. He kind of proved himself in Golden State when Steve Kerr was gone for a big portion of the season.
Yes.
And they were dominating still.
I thought he should have got a piece of that Coach of the Year.
I agree. I think he should have coached the All-Star game.
Yes.
Or did he? I think they didn't let him, right?
No.
I think there was a push for it, but yeah. Don't worry, Luke's gonna be okay. But I think Dave Fizdale deserves a job, and I would love to see him in Milwaukee with that squad. I think he could do some special things with them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Moving right along. You heard about this Jimmy Butler injury?
Yes, but for those who may not have been, or if you've been under a rock somewhere, no pun intended, rock. But if you've been under a rock somewhere and you haven't heard about that, explain to them, what exactly happened. Because the severity of it, for the sake of the Wolves, he'll be back for the playoffs, which is a great thing. I mean, I thought initially that when I saw the injury, I thought it was an ACL, and I was just glad that it wasn't an ACL because, to be honest, his presence on that team alone has taken him from no playoffs to a 3rd and 4th seed,
something like that. I think they're still 4th. Yeah.
So God bless
standings, but
God bless him. So I mean, speedy recovery to him. I hope. And they're one of those teams that I do like, but for the playoffs, I'm not so sure what they're going to give us though. And the reason being,
youth.
I just you know what it is. Like I look at Teague. And I think that Teague could be giving you much more than he does.
Yeah.
But then at the other end, I look at like a Wiggins. And I don't know what it is about him, but I just feel like he should be a whole nother notch better than what he is. I think like I just think like for some reason he's being held back or something. Or I think it's on him though. I don't think he has the alpha characteristics where he just will seize the moment and just hoop. I think he's
saying
too.
He plays light skin.
I don't know if we can say he plays light skin, seeing as Steph and half of Golden State is light skin, but yeah. I just think he doesn't play as aggressive as he could. He just lays back a lot.
Yeah,
there's no reason why he shouldn't be averaging 25, 26 points.
I agree. Especially how well he was touted out of high school and after his freshman season in Kansas.
And then also, I think that he should be at the least, a third-team all-defensive player.
Yeah, I agree.
And we haven't seen it yet, so,
Yes, we'll see. But, they are currently in the 4th spot, and I'm gonna be honest with you,
and they're only out of the 3rd spot by
a half a game. But they're only out of missing the playoffs by 1.5 games. It's crazy.
The West is so.
The West is crazy.
And it's funny because as we look at the stats,
3 games separate 9th and 3rd.
Like within a week, you've seen like San Antonio fall at least 3 spots because they're on a losing streak.
I'm gonna tell you like
you've seen Oklahoma City fall from 4 to 7.
You've seen Portland surge.
Portland is at 3.
They're 8-2 in their last games and they won 6 straight.
And you know what that is? It's primarily because Damian Lillard has willed them to some wins that ordinarily they may not have gotten.
Yeah, and our dream matchup of Houston and New Orleans at 1-8 is so far gone.
Everybody just messed that up. Jeez.
Yeah, New Orleans ripped off 7 straight. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they are now in the 5th spot, facing Minnesota if the playoffs start today.
They just screwed everything up, man. We had so much hopes, man.
Yeah. Houston didn't mess anything up. They've won 15 straight, and they're number 1 in the NBA.
Let me tell you one matchup that we didn't foresee.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about these matchups, we're not just really talking about just the matchup. So if you've been following us, you know that we're talking about nightlife as well.
Exactly.
So as I'm speaking about the nightlife, what is Portland versus San Antonio going to offer us?
A lot of stakes in San Antonio. and a lot of Nike in Oregon.
I'll take that.
Steaks and Nike.
Definitely take that.
You know?
I mean, okay, then you look at Golden State and Oklahoma City is a pretty good for right now.
Yeah, I mean, because Oklahoma City, they're north of Texas, Louisiana area. You dip down a couple of hours and get some nightlife. Golden
who's
State
got
is
to be
Oakland.
happy? You know who has to be happy that they don't have to see OKC early? Would be Houston.
Yes.
That's the match. They're the team that Houston doesn't want to see at all.
Yeah.
People say Golden State, but I think OKC is the team that they don't want to see at all.
Yeah.
Can you?
Because right now they're matched up with Denver.
And Denver's not bad a team.
Yeah, but I think Houston is like, okay, I'll take Denver over OKC.
Absolutely, they would.
But think about it. There's a one game between 6 and 8. What if San Antonio dropped to the 8th spot and Houston had to see OKC? Houston had to see San Antonio.
With the healthy Kawhi coming back?
Oh my God, that'd be problems.
That would be I would probably say, because there's no better coach at making adjustments than Pop.
Exactly.
So I would probably lean towards San Antonio in that, if that were the case, primarily because of Pop, and because in the playoffs we do know that everything slows down a little bit and we'll have a lot more half court offense, and I think that they're a better half court team than per se Houston. I think Houston likes to get out in a break, likes to run, likes to spread out the court and be able to do certain things because they have all the good people on the wing.
Hey, but let's look down a little bit on that list. The Lakers have won 5 straight, 6.5 out of the 8th seed.
You know what?
There's hope.
You know what? There's hope. But for a Laker fan,
I want a draft
that
pick.
I am, just being realistic,
I want a draft pick.
I personally just want us to be 500.
Yeah. I want 500
if
and a
we
draft
get to
pick.
500, that's great. Especially because nobody expected any of this from us.
Actually, I want 500 and a lottery pick, if that's possible.
It would be, because if we were just 500, we'd still be out of the playoffs.
41, yep.
We'd probably be still at 10th or 11th.
Considering some teams already have 41, over 41 as it is.
But if we were in the East, we'd be very much in contention.
Oh, yeah. Let's scroll up to the East real quick and see what our...
Yeah, we'd be behind Miami.
Yeah.
We'd be, 5 behind them?
Yeah.
Well, 4.5.
Yeah.
Which Miami is playing great, to be honest with you. I like the fact that Dwayne Wade is on that team.
Yeah.
I bet he's like, I should have been here the whole damn time. Yeah. Because if you've noticed, once he gets more minutes, he gets more touches, you see what he's able to do with that. Yeah. I just looking at this list, we have from 1 to 8, we have Toronto at the 1 seed.
Yep.
We have Boston as a 2, Cleveland as the 3.
Yep.
Indiana as the 4.
Yep.
Who in their right mind thought that Indiana was playing that well? Because they're one of the teams that we've never heard of. We have the Wizards at 5, and that'll be a great series, a 5-4 matchup.
Oh, yeah.
I would still take, Washington because, they would have John Wall coming back.
But, do we have a problem at number 6?
Number 6 is a team that nobody wants to face.
Cleveland will be playing Philadelphia, and Philly is 8-2 in their last 10 games.
Trust the process.
Yep.
Listen, in that series, LeBron is going to have to do one of those supreme LeBron performances where he's averaging like 40 for the series because Joel Embiid is coming with 32.
It's going to have to be Game 5 and Game 6 of the season of the year that they won the championship against Golden State.
Yeah.
When him and Kyrie basically said, we're scoring all the points.
Well, they may also need him to be like he was when he was in Cleveland. He played against Boston, and not Boston, Detroit, when he scored the 26 points in a row.
Yeah.
They're going to need that kind of performance from him.
I hope he's resting up. Moving down to number 7, we have Milwaukee, who's on a little bit of a skid, lost 4 straight. They are 4-6 in the last 10.
I think, you know what, with Milwaukee, I think they need to sit Jabari Parker down.
Yeah.
Because he's not making that much of a difference, and I would hate for him to, get a nagging injury just trying to play.
Yeah. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, because Miami is number 8, and Detroit is currently sitting outside the playoffs.
How's that Blake Griffin thing looking now?
They're 2-8 in their last 10 games.
You know what I didn't realize about them? I didn't realize how many games Reggie Jackson has missed this year.
He's missed a lot.
He's
still on my injured list of my fantasy team.
I think if he was in there, that would be a big difference. I think instead of being 29 and 34, I think that they would be, for one, they'd be over 500.
They'd at least be 34 and 29.
Yeah, I think at least that.
Yeah, and they'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they might be a little bit better, but I think they definitely have a reverse record, 34 and 29. But he's missed. I don't even know how many games he's missed, but I haven't had him in my roster for about at least 2 months. He's been on the injured list.
Right.
And the timetable for him coming back just seems to change every now and then. But they're currently 4 games out of the playoffs. And at the rate that they're playing right now on the skid they're at, they'd have to make a strong push to get back in there. Because 4 games at this point in the game, when you're slumping and everybody else seems to be on the way up, it's not good. However, Toronto and Miami are not disappointing in the nightlife matchup. They go back to number 1 for matchups, playoff matchups as far as nightlife. Yeah, Milwaukee, Boston. Yeah. Boston will be all right. Milwaukee, not so much. Cleveland and Philly is kind of lopsided. Philly be cool. Cleveland won't be. I think Indiana, Washington is the number 2 matchup.
Yeah, it could be.
As far as nightlife?
Yeah.
I think Indiana's a little bit more popping than Cleveland and Milwaukee. So I think that'd at least be a balanced. At least you have 2 teams where like both cities are popping at night.
Right.
You know, if we go back to the West though, oh man, our hopes and dreams have been crushed. Now we have Houston at Denver, still decent.
Yeah,
but it was not the Houston New Orleans matchup that we all grew and loved.
I tell you this, we're gonna have to watch out for James Harden. I think Trevor Ariza.
Yep.
Nene.
Yeah.
Gerald Green.
Yep.
Capella.
Yep. I know they're probably like, man, I'm glad that Pat Beverly ain't here because he'd be the go-to. He'd be the cut. He'd be the plug.
Is there anybody else we'd have to?
Hey,
maybe
CP3.
Aaron Gordon. I don't think CP3. You know,
I
don't think that works with the State Farms commercials.
He's insured. It definitely works.
Yeah, they got to
like
watch
I said,
out.
man.
Yo, all the local dispensaries.
Yep,
they're coming.
And DJ Quick said a long time ago, Denver, it's just like Compton. Golden State, OKC. We talked about that one. We talked about Portland, San Antonio, Minnesota, New Orleans. You're gonna have to watch out for everybody on Minnesota.
Oh my goodness.
Karl Anthony Towns is going down in 3.
Listen, you got to watch out for Wiggins down there, man.
Oh yeah.
Him?
You got to watch out.
He might not even show up.
You know who you got to watch out for, though, too, right?
Who would that be?
Jeff Teague. He used to play for Atlanta. So he knows what's popping.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He's the one he's taking his own team. He's taking his own teammates out.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a problem.
Well, the only thing we can hope for is that we have a few changes within the last couple of weeks. We can hope for that.
Yeah.
Because then we could get some of the
Magic back.
that we had.
Some of the Magic City back.
I mean,
well, like we said, there's only from 3 through 8. There's only 2 games separating the team.
Yeah. So anything can happen.
Portland is number 3. They were like number 6 or 7 when we first started this segment. So I mean, things can change.
And I really don't foresee San Antonio still skidding this long. Currently, you know that Aldridge has a bad ankle, so that may be some of the reason why that they're sliding right about now. But I think Popovich will definitely get him back in the fold. And San Antonio is
2-8 in the last 10 games. That's not a regular occurrence. Popovich is going to turn that around.
But I definitely am very surprised by Portland. I mean, Damian Lillard, no, there's no secret. He's my favorite player in the league, and I just look at him, and he's just playing like a guy that feels like he's been slighted all his life. He's been disrespected, and he's just going out there showing people, I'm just as good as X, Y, or Z player. don't forget about me.
Yeah. And I can rap. I got bars.
I'm the best rapper in the league.
Yeah.
Although, have you heard Amon Shumpert?
Amon Shumpert can spit.
John Shumpert can really spit, and he made good sense. It's like, well, how come you haven't come out with that? He said, yo, if I come out with an album and it says Amon Shumpert, they already turning it off.
Yep.
So if I come out with something and you don't know who the hell it is, you be like, yo, he got bars. So
yeah,
look out for that guy.
Exactly. But yeah, Portland is 8-2 in their last games. They won 6 straight. Golden State won 5 straight, and they're 8-2 in the last 10 games. Like we said, Houston won 15 straight, so we know what their last 10 games has been. New Orleans is 7-3 in the last 10 games and won 7 straight, and Denver is 7-3 in the last 10 games, and they won 2 straight.
You know who else is 7-2 in the last 10 games? 7-3.
Clippers and the Lakers.
The Lakers.
But the
Winners
Lakers
of
have won
5 in a
straight.
row. Now imagine if we get in the 8th position. So it would be L.A. versus Houston.
Yeah, now that would be popping.
Yeah,
that'd be back.
That move
that would make up for the Houston,
would really
New Orleans.
make up for the whole West. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Because I think they said that Houston has a pretty tough schedule. You know, ending the year as opposed to Golden State, who has one of the easiest schedules in the league.
And let's be realistic. I mean, Golden State's a half game back.
Right.
The only reason that Golden State's not in first because Houston's played one less game. They're
correct.
Houston's 49-13, Golden State's 49-14. We're talking percentage points here.
But here's the thing. Houston needs to finish number 1 more so than Golden State.
Oh, definitely.
Golden State has already proved that they can go on anybody's floor and win. But Houston
not so
has
much.
not. You know, we're going to see. We're going to see.
Houston needs home court advantage throughout. So,
and they're going to need Harden to not be Harden.
Yeah, they need Harden to actually play all season and not just the first 82 games and 2 series.
Now speaking on Harden, you did see the play, right?
Yeah, man, we got to get into this. Is it the best crossover you've seen in a long time, or is it slightly overrated?
I think it's one of the best that I've seen in a long time, but it's slightly overrated because he did push off.
Exactly.
He did push off. Now, I personally think that Kyrie does some stuff nightly that I'm like, yo, this guy. I mean, I think he had a great crossover when they played against the Lakers, and then he dribbled into the lane, and everybody collapsed on him in the lane. It was like 4-on-1, and he dribbled himself out of the trap and still got the basket. I'm telling Kyrie, boy.
I'm glad you bring it up. We're both decent Miro fans, right?
Absolutely.
Did you see the episode when they talked about that the Boston reporter who said who has a better handle, Kyrie Irving or Bob Cousy?
Yes.
Did you see that episode?
Yes, I did.
Did you? And I'm not bringing up the Bob Cousy versus Kyrie thing. Did you see the highlight reel they showed of Kyrie?
Kyrie. Yeah.
So that being said,
best handles.
That being said, I wasn't really impressed with the James Harden thing. Yeah, he fell, but 1, he pushed off, but 2, the crossover wasn't that great of a crossover.
It wasn't even. Was it a crossover?
It was more of
or was it a pullback into
was a
the
step
step
back? Yeah.
Mind you, that particular play, he didn't travel. Because I sat there and watched his pivot foot, and he didn't move it.
He didn't travel that time.
But he travels a lot.
Yeah.
And they don't call it. But, you know,
He
hey.
take 4 steps
And here's the thing. He gets calls that Jordan never would have got.
Yeah.
But, you know, hey.
Must be the beard.
Hey.
But that being said, at the end of the day, it was funny to watch. The fact that he crossed him and then stared at him like, dude, what are you doing? And then still hit the 3.
And that play there probably will be the play that they keep showing once they announce that he's the MVP of the league.
Yep.
Now,
was it
so
trash?
Funny.
No.
It's so funny to me how they're trying to put everybody up there to be, you know, MVP against him. Yeah. Like they always just throw LeBron, and I don't see where LeBron can be the MVP. I just don't see it because for me, I have Anthony Davis as the next after Harden.
I look at it like this too. LeBron's in the East and you're not number 1. And you just traded your whole entire team away.
Well, okay, if we were to break it down East and West, then who would be the MVP in the East?
MVP in the East, I would probably say
I would say
Kyrie.
Greek Freak to me. It would have to be the Greek Freak because I mean, he's put his team on his back all year. Look at some of the numbers. Just if you just watch him play and just see the fact that he can get from one end of the floor to the other end in like 5 dribbles.
Yeah.
And he does everything. You know, he
I will
scores,
say
he
this.
rebounds, he blocks, he plays defense, he does everything. The kid should be exhausted after every game how hard he goes. You know, he in the East, it's not even close. He's my MVP.
I will say, just to be devil's advocate, I hear everything you're saying, and he is slowly developing. I won't even say slowly. He's developed into one of my favorite players in the game. Like, as far as like who I like to watch play, I like to watch Russell Westbrook. I like to watch LeBron. I like to watch Durant. I like to watch Klay Thompson.
I love watching Klay Thompson.
Yeah, but Greek Freak is right there. But at the same time, just to be devil's advocate and to throw another name out there, I got to say Kyrie, just for everything we've talked about already, plus the fact that where Boston is at. It's like they traded away half their team when they made the deal with Cleveland. They got rid of Isaiah Thomas, who had his career year, and they didn't skip a beat.
You know who I would, and I agree with you. I definitely agree with you on the Kyrie. You know, because I don't think anybody. And if you say yes, if somebody says I did, you'd be lying. I think that once Gordon Hayward went down, nobody expected that much of Boston.
No, of course not. They said the season playoff, the run is over. Yeah, what are they gonna do? They lost Gordon Hayward and the championship dream. Man, they did not skip a beat.
The thing that impresses me the most about Kyrie, what he's doing over in Boston, he's not averaging more than he did in Cleveland, but he's showing that he can run a team.
He got the young
He's getting
boys
everybody
balling.
involved, and if you notice, after every game, win or lose, he will field all the questions. He'll take all the blame and the criticism that goes with it. But
He got Rozier balling. He got Jaylen Brown balling.
Oh, absolutely.
He got the Olynyk wannabe replacement. He's balling. You know what I mean?
Aaron Bain?
Yeah. Tatum is balling.
Yeah.
Al Horford looks like he had a little resurgence and doesn't look old and washed. You know? So that's why I would tip my hat to Kyrie Irving. But I am not mad at you saying Greek Freak at all.
And I'm going to throw another name out there. It would be my honorable mention, and it's not going to be Embiid. Who everybody? And,
I think I know who you're going to say.
Please don't say he deserves it. But I'm saying DeMar DeRozan.
Yep.
Because just for where Toronto is and for him to be having him there is just remarkable. Because as we know, you know, we always criticize like a player like Harden that Harden doesn't show up or he comes up small in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But for me, I look at Kyle Lowry and he comes up very putrid during the playoffs.
Definitely. DeMar DeRozan always shows up. And he's friends with Kendrick.
Yeah.
K-Dot.
Yeah, you know how I feel about him.
Yeah. Kendrick's my
Very
guy.
overrated.
Kendrick's my guy.
Very overrated. I'm sorry. Very overrated. Well, okay, I am sticking with overrated. But I'm just saying, you're force-feeding me him too much, you know. It's almost like now, but what's funny now is they're easing off of Kendrick, and now they're force-feeding us the Migos.
Oh, of course.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, because Cardi B has no album out, so they got to force feed us somebody with music. You know.
True.
I will say this, though. Being that we are sports talk with a hip-hop feel appeal to it. Shout out to BBD. Stir Fry is my joint. By the Migos.
Not bad.
Yeah,
I like how they came out of their comfort zone. So, you know.
I think that definitely shows Pharrell's influence and range as a producer. Right. He didn't just give them a beat and they rapped over it. They let him produce the song. You know what I mean?
Correct. Before we get on the big topic, we primarily, don't mention this sport as much as we should.
Yeah.
We did last week a little bit. But last night, if anybody was up and watching Showtime around 9 o'clock, and you were in for a treat because you saw, to this point of 2018, the boxing match of the year, in my opinion, and it was between Ortiz and Wilder. And though Wilder came up with the win and came up with the knockout in the 10th, which was very impressive, Ortiz was giving it to him the whole fight.
Wow.
Wilder could not have won that fight without the knockout. He could not. And it was in the 10th round, and he was probably behind on everybody's card by at least 3 points.
Okay.
But Ortiz was supposed to get rid of him in the 7th round. All respect due to Deontay Wilder, because he was out on his feet 2 times, and he managed to make it through the 7th round. And what happened was, when the 8th round came, Ortiz was pretty much spent. So he didn't really come after him like he should have, and he allowed him to get his legs back. And that's what led to the 10th round. Because realistically, because Ortiz is a southpaw, and because Deontay Wilder is boxes conventionally, everything that Wilder was throwing at Ortiz was countering everything. But Wilder's power came through on one of the shots, and he couldn't. He just was done. He was toast.
Yeah,
he was toast. But it was a great fight. Ortiz had nothing to be ashamed of in his performance. Honestly, I think his performance in the loss was probably one of the best performances I've ever seen in a loss. And I think that most of the heavyweights were scared to fight him initially. I don't think they're making. I don't think there's anybody lining up to say, "Oh, I want him now." I don't see it. I really don't see it.
You said that's your early season candidate for
match of the year. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
I unfortunately was on a bus back from Staten Island from the New York State Track and Field Championships. So I missed all of that last night.
And you brought no Wu Wear back. Totally disappointed.
Man, we didn't get to the meet till 4:00. We missed half of the meet. That's another whole story.
That's another pause too. Just half the meet.
MEET.
Hey, the people didn't hear the spelling. All they heard was what you said.
Track and field meeting. Let me say the proper term.
Pause.
Run DMC reference. But I'll reference my story about the indoor track and field championships travel mishaps on my other podcast, Track Talk with CH and Ferdy. But yeah, that's why I missed the boxing match. I was on the bus forever.
They also had a match which this was on
Undercard?
HBO. This was on HBO.
Okay. Oh,
and it was so funny because the Wilder fight was at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and Kovalev fought. I would say a tomato can, but he won, and that match was in Madison Square Garden.
It's the same city, different stations.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we can't get to the big match, so we'll go over here.
Can't even say city to city or state to state.
And then, on top of that, we had a UFC fight, which Cyborg just totally annihilated this lady. It was just oh, my God. You know what? She's going to have nobody to fight pretty soon. Yeah. It would have been great for her to, get her paws on Ronda Rousey, but, she's in WWE now, so, that won't
bag.
Happen. So,
Getting that McMahon bag.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at her.
Hey,
she took a couple L's, and UFC's like, you know what? I need to keep this face pretty. Let me go to this WWE thing.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, she still have a little bit of an acting career if she chooses or whatever. So
she made money moves.
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath before you go on to the next topic.
Before we get into the next topic, I'm gonna give a little quick shout out to Poland. Before we started the podcast, I was watching the IAAF Indoor Track and Field World Championships, all the pros. NCAA is coming next week. We're going to talk about that because I'm going to be all up in it.
LSU.
Yes. USC, SEC, Texas A&M. But, yeah, the pros were at it this weekend. And I just got to say, the last bit of the meet was definitely a treat. Pause to all of that. But,
that was a bar.
That was a bar.
Meet and treat.
Pause. So we're running the men's 4x400 meter relay, and the men are leading the entire time until the last 25 meters of the race, when they get passed by Poland in indoor world record time, 3:01:77.
Wow.
And it's funny.
Poland?
The U.S. had the meet record, right?
Mm-hmm.
The season leader and the world leader was USC's track team, University of South Carolina. University of South California. Take
Southern
that back.
California,
Yeah. University of Southern California.
South Carolina is the other USC. They don't count.
Yeah. But yeah, the meet record was and the US record was United States. The world leader was University of Southern California. Poland passed all that. They set the meet record, and they set the world record, and they're the world leader with the world record, 301.77, 4x400 meter relay, indoor national champions. It's crazy. World champions, I should say, not national, world champions. So shout out to Poland before we get on to this. Hopefully they pass their drug test because we know how track got dirty like baseball used to be. But as of right now, Poland is the world record holder in the indoor 4x400 meter relay, and they are the world champions at the IAAF Indoor Track and Field Championships Day 4. Now we're going to get a little bit of somber. I'm going to start off with the comparisons.
Okay.
What we're about to get into is kind of like the steroid era in baseball, where they started getting people up out of here. You on steroids? Oh, you out of here. 800 game suspension. Or you out of here? Yeah, you might not ever get voted into the Hall of Fame.
Like you're done for life.
Yeah. What we're talking about right now is kind of comparable to the Hollywood house cleaning. You touched who? Okay, you out of there. You done. You have no career anymore.
Yeah.
You abused who? Oh, it's a wrap. You're done. Ladies and gentlemen, NCAA basketball potentially could take a major hit to a bunch of programs. Currently, they are having an FBI probe which has revealed corruption in a number of basketball powerhouses.
A number would be an understatement.
A number of basketball powerhouses. I'm not talking about Dade Community College. We're talking about those teams that you see in the top 25 on a regular basis. Schools identified by Yahoo as having players who possibly violated NCAA rules include Duke, North Carolina, Texas, Kentucky, Michigan State, USC, and Kansas. And at least 25 players are linked to impermissible benefits, including Michigan State's Miles Bridges, Alabama's Colin Sexton, and Duke's Wendell Carter. It's about to be ugly, y'all. And we didn't even get to football yet. This is just NCAA basketball. My thing is this. With the schools I mentioned, you cannot tell me that this type of dirt is potentially happening at a basketball program only and not a football program. With all the money that's going around in these sports, it's about to get crazy, man.
And why do you think that they are focusing on basketball?
Tournaments around the corner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When did Syracuse get hit? Right before the tourney a couple years ago. Oh, Syracuse is probably not going to make that much noise in the tourney. They're not a favorite to win it. So, y'all up out of here. He gonna hit y'all with that sanction now. But it looks like the FBI don't care about who's ranked where and who could not be bubbling in the tournament. Because, like I said, I mentioned Duke. Duke is usually ranked up kind of high. I mentioned North Carolina. North Carolina's ranked kind of high.
And they're like basketball royalty. So I'm very interested to see what happens to them. Because, as we already know, Carolina was brought up on some charges of, having fake classes offered and guys not even really taking real classes for grades and nothing happened to them. If people really think that this is the first time that Duke did something wrong, sadly mistaken. I remember when Calipari was first starting the one and dones. And, you heard, people like Coach K, oh, well, I usually have, 4-year players and da-da-da, kind of bad-mouthing him.
Yep.
But who followed right along?
What's up, Corey Maggette?
As soon as like really, well, Corey Maggette was the first, but as soon as Jabari Parker did it, then you had an influx of it, and you need not to look but to what they have on their roster. Yeah. Look at the incoming class they're going to have. They're going to have 3 one-and-dones coming in next year.
Of course.
They have the top 3 recruits in the land coming to Duke next year. You really think they're staying 2 years?
Of course not.
Because the only reason that Zion Williamson is coming to Duke is because he can't go straight to the league. Because honestly, if I was him, I wouldn't even go to college because I think college is going to screw his game up. But that's just me.
But let me shift gears a little bit. I talked about this on my other podcast. We were talking about the NCAA conference championship season, and last weekend was the SEC championships, which is pretty much like the creme de la creme, the best of the best in college track and field. It's kind of similar to college football. We were talking about the youth movement, how Sydney McLaughlin, she's already been in the Olympics, and she's only a freshman at Kentucky.
Right. And
she won the 400 meters at SEC championships as a freshman. The second place finisher is also a freshman from Georgia, Lena Irby. She also won the 200 meter at NCAA championships. At SEC championships. Freshman. One of Rochester's own, Sammy Watson from Rush Henrietta, representing Texas Tech now. She won the 800 meter championship at SEC championships. She's a freshman. And we were like, somebody like Sydney McLaughlin, I'd be surprised if she sees her junior year at Kentucky. She's already been to the Olympics as a high schooler.
She'll be at another Olympics.
She's the world leader in the 400 meter dash right now. Not in college. She's the world leader in the 400 meter indoors. And she's a freshman in college. She's like 18.
Yeah, she's not gonna see it.
She's not gonna see her junior year. She might not see her sophomore year. She's going pro.
Yeah.
But it's looked at as like, okay, who's gonna go pro in college track and field this year? It's not looked at as a bad thing. Why is it looked at such a bad thing in basketball to be a one and done?
Well, I mean, the money isn't as lucrative with track and field as it is in college basketball, and that's primarily the main reason.
Yeah, that's probably true. But I mean, you can go pro straight out of high school for track and field.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have done it. Like a lot of people thought Sydney McLaughlin would do it. You know, Sammy Watson probably had the opportunity to do it. I'm pretty sure Nike, Reebok, and Puma had some money to throw at them to
Under
go pro.
Armour.
You know, Christian Coleman, he's already gone pro.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Christian Coleman went pro.
I didn't know
he was at indoor IAAF championships this year.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a lot of college track athletes that don't see their senior year when they're the top tier.
Yep.
So I don't see why it's that big of an issue with NBA. But like you said, at the end of the day, when you look deeper into it, follow the money. But you know what who was I talking about with this? You know what to solve this whole problem?
What would solve the problem?
Pay the damn kids, man.
Yeah, you know what? That
All
seems like, listen, it seems like an easy solution, but my thing is, once you start paying people, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm in college and I'm, let's say, if I'm, I don't know. If I'm the top, because I don't even know who I would consider the top player in college. But if I'm the top player in college, let's say I'm Ayton from Arizona, right? Do you pay me and the 15th player on the sideline the same amount? I mean, how do we equate what a player gets? Does everybody get the same thing?
Everybody gets the same thing.
Okay.
My thing is this: if you pay everybody at your school, and I mean everybody, basketball, football,
lacrosse,
bowling, golf, swimming, cheerleading,
right,
gymnastics. If you play a sport for that school,
and make band a sport,
especially for the HBCUs. But my thing is this: I don't care if you bowl. Your time commitment to bowling is no different than any other sport. You're not getting paid for it, but you're getting money to that school based on your performance.
Right.
Your sport might not get as much money. I get that, but there's a benefit to you being on that team to that school.
It's just an
your
example.
Time commitment is no worse than any other sport. So that's why I say any athlete should get paid at any level.
It's a great
Division
example
1,
of organized
2,
slavery.
NAIA. Why are they not getting paid? When you're making billions, and I said the B word, billions, you can't give these kids $300, $200 a week stipend?
I think this whole FBI investigation into, athletes receiving improper benefits and things of that nature, I think it's going to change the whole way that the NCAA operates.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means that the players are going to be paid, but I think that the whole infrastructure as we see it now is done.
But let me just talk about it like this, man. And I know you can speak on it too. We both went to college. My experience in college, I was not a scholarship athlete. I
Nor
was a
was I.
walk-on for the track and field team for 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
My time commitment was no different than somebody who was on a full scholarship. The only thing was I had to pay for school, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my time commitment, I had to be there at the same time as them. I had to do the same thing in practice as them. If you were in my training group, I had to do the same thing in practice as you, whether you're on scholarship or I'm not. I had to go to study hall the same time as them. I had to go to weight room the same time as them. Now, granted, this is where I'm going to take it now. Forget all the time commitment aspect of it. No matter whether you play football for a Division I school, soccer for a Division II school, or you're just a regular student that's an engineering major at any school, Friday night at 6:30, 7 o'clock, cafeteria closed.
Yep.
What you do at 11 o'clock on a Friday night when you're trying to do the right thing, but you're hungry? What you do on Saturday afternoon when the cafeteria closed a little bit earlier at like 5 and it's like 8:30 and you're hungry?
Well, how about the Sundays when it's only open like for breakfast and maybe lunch?
Yeah.
There's no dinner on Sunday. They'll give you, when you go to lunch is basically dinner, and then they'll give you like at our school, they give you a bag to take back with you for later on in the evening.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm not even talking about going out to parties. I'm not even talking about going to the movies. I'm not talking about going on dates. I'm just talking about the average day-to-day.
Just surviving.
It's 11 o'clock on a Friday night. You trying to watch the movies on the college movie channel, and you hungry.
And I got to pay for my laundry as well.
I was going there next. I'm glad you brought it up. But we're not talking about September when you get down there. We're talking about like November, when all that what we used to call we had what was called declining balance. Mm-hmm. So you had your meal plan and you had $300 in declining balance that you use around campus, to get food. When that declining balance and dried up, in October,
and you got to utilize
because you was balling like, hey girl, you want something to eat? I got you. I got a declining balance. When that dries up, then what? We just talking about food. We're not talking about the other necessities of life. We're just talking about the basic necessities of life.
And you got to remember, you're talking about sometimes 17-year-olds, sometimes a gifted student at 16, like 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, having to be able to have the wherewithal to like do the math in their head and balance out the $300 and then, make sure it lasts a certain amount of time.
September to December, dude.
Man, listen, when you're at that age, how many of us are really actively, keeping a balance book of our finances, period, like in a bank?
Stomach is growling, none.
You're just going to eat because you think you have it, and then when you don't have it, it's like, okay, how many packs of ramen noodles can I get for $3?
Yeah.
I mean, it's survival at that point.
That scenario does not apply to college athletes. That applies to everybody.
Yeah.
But my thing is this. When I wasn't running track, I wasn't on scholarship. Guess what I could do?
Right.
I can go get work study.
Absolutely.
I can go get a regular job. And a scholarship athlete cannot do that.
No.
So you're telling me I have to give this time commitment to this sport, but I am not getting any money from it? That's okay. But you tell me I can't get a job either? So I can't get any money from my sport and I can't get a job? Whereas me as a walk-on, I could do whatever I want. I was working up in the mailroom, getting extra money doing that. I was cutting hair. But not now it's like, okay, you have all these restrictions on these athletes. They're going to find a hustle.
Right.
Granted, they're not going to be selling weed and everything like that. They ain't going to be, selling drugs.
Well,
they're gonna,
then you have to be resourceful and be sort of like how Greg Anthony was when he was in school, where he had to say, you know what, I'm going to give up my scholarship, because I have a T-shirt business. He was an enterprising young man early, so he already knew. And once he did that, I remember they tried to like put UNLV on probation for that, but he gave up the scholarship, so they couldn't do anything.
Exactly.
He was that smart to know that, okay, it's a violation if I do this at this point. So what I'm going to do is I made this X amount of money. Tuition is X amount of money.
Yep.
Oh, I got that from this business. You know what? Let me give up the scholarship and just pay tuition.
Yep.
And continue to make my wages.
Yeah, but everybody's not going to have that opportunity.
Absolutely.
And you're telling me if somebody, and a lot of times it's these boosters that work for the school. You're telling me that somebody, if I'm an 18, 19-year-old kid, and I go to Michigan State, or I go to Penn State, or I go to LSU, and somebody that's a booster for my school wants to take me out to dinner and says, hey, don't worry about it, I'll pay for it, I could afford losing time because somebody took me out to dinner?
Well, but put it to you this way. Coming from just being a college student, and either you're on scholarship to play whatever sport or not, you may have walked on, you got financial aid, whatever. If a booster comes up to you, and mind you, you can't work, you don't have money like that, a booster comes up to you and offers you $10,000 cash.
Yeah.
And you've never seen $10,000 cash until he put it on the table.
Your parents might have been making $10,000 a year.
Who's not going to take that?
Exactly.
Please tell me who's not going to take that.
Exactly.
And is it right? No.
But my thing is this: why is it wrong?
At the end of the day, the way I look at it is, you go to school in order to, secure a degree, which that degree is supposed to entitle you the opportunity to live a better life in the future.
And be
and
full
to give
of debt.
And
That's a hustle in itself,
and to get you to that career that's going to push you there, right?
Yeah. Which is
So
also a hustle.
if I'm playing a sport and a booster comes to me and offers me $10,000, and I'm going to be the next NFL player, the next NBA player, the next MLB player, the next NHL player, the next, PGA player, whatever. You don't think I could take that $10,000 knowing that I'm going to get that on my first signing bonus? I could just give it back to you like this. It's almost like if you borrowed $50 from me.
Yeah.
That's what $10,000 is.
I'm gonna get you back on payday.
Yeah. I don't see the problem, but NCAA rules state that this is a problem. But like I said, the feds are in it now, so I think it's going to change what the complexion of athletes being able to have or not have is going to change dramatically.
But my thing is this: with all these sanctions that come down, with all these forfeitures, how many times do you see the universities themselves getting in trouble?
Never.
It's usually the coaches and the players.
Yeah.
More so the players first, coaches second. But the we'll have somebody step down from their position. They probably got another position in the wings waiting for them.
Once you lose your position or what have you, a lot of the times they have to pay you the rest of your contract, unless you have in your contract a clause or something. Like Sean Miller, God bless, he has in his contract, and this is probably the reason why he's still coaching or whatever. He has in his contract that if they let him go for reasons that aren't suitable within the way the contract is written, he gets another $5 million on top of whatever they owe him.
Let me just tell you something. Make no mistake about it. These college coaches are eating.
Absolutely. I mean,
I can't speak for other sports, but football and basketball, these college coaches are eating.
I would love to see what the college football coaches are doing and what they're looking like. Like Saban, I would love to see if he's on the up and up.
Oh, there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of coaches that are paid less than Saban in the NFL.
There has to be a bunch of boosters from Alabama just offering people money. There's a reason why Alabama is running a pro style thing over there.
You got to think these TV deals are bringing their money hand over fist.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. They have
the SEC network.
Exactly.
That's how I watched the SEC championship.
Crazy.
They have the SEC network through ESPN. Oh, by the way, ESPN's owned by Disney.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
If you need them.
Yeah. Come on, man. There's so much money going around. And
hiding it behind Mickey Mouse. Wow.
And my thing is this. There's so much money going around. Who is generating these funds? The people on the field. The people on the basketball courts, the people in the swimming pools, the people on the tennis courts, the people at the bowling alleys, the girls chilling on the side, the gymnastics athletes flipping and doing the rings and the uneven bars. The athletes are generating all this money, and they are seeing 0% of the benefits of this.
While we have presidents and chancellors and people like that just sit there and just wait to just nail people for improper actions and things of that nature.
They can take each other out and go swipe the company card, but this top prospect athlete that wants to get a burger and they pay for it, it's an NCAA violation.
Dude, you can't even like if a player's car breaks down or something like that, you can't even like send them a tow truck. You can't get them an Uber. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
Does it happen? Yeah.
But you know what that tells me? You can't just be a nice person out of the kindness of your heart that want to give somebody something that you think they deserve it.
It'd be like it's almost like saying, "Oh, Brian can't eat. Brian's starving. Yeah, I'd love to help him, but you know what? It's a violation. Brian just got to starve."
Yep. But take away my scholarship and make me just a regular student, I can get all that.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. And I think it all starts with the NCAA and the reasoning for their sanctions. Now, should players be getting $10,000 and everything like that? Okay, that might be a little bit excessive. But, I mean, it's ridiculous what they will fine somebody for, what they will sanction somebody for, what they will suspend somebody for. And they need to, like you said, the FBI, hopefully there's a lot of good that comes out of this.
I mean, have you ever seen a major college like go bankrupt or out of business?
Nope.
Why would you think that is? Because the sponsors, because of tuition, all that stuff, man. They're not hurting. They're not hurting, man.
Yeah, the people who don't have scholarships are paying tuition. The people who are on scholarship are generating billions in the sports they play. So either way, it's a win-win.
It's organized slavery. It's basically the players are the hoes and the institutions are the pimps.
I forgot who said this, but how hard is it for a university to give away free classes? Them classes are already paid for.
Right.
The people who pay tuition have already paid for them classes. So you add one more kid to a class of 300.
You don't even notice that.
Yeah. And all these kids spent like $300 and $400 on just that one book for that class. You can give away a free book at that point. You know what I mean? So they're raking in the dough. It's crazy. I feel bad for the kids and some of the coaches, but I don't feel bad for any of the schools and the programs and the chancellors and the athletic directors and all of them. And granted, it says at least 6 players were identified in the documents as receiving payments exceeding $10,000. They include Dallas Mavericks point guard Dennis Smith Jr., who received $73,500 in loans from ASM before he played for NC State. Brooklyn Nets shooting guard Isaiah Whitehead, who received more than $37,000 around the time he was a freshman at Seton Hall. And 2017 number 1 NBA draft pick Markelle Fultz, who received $10,000. Other teams of current or former players who allegedly received payments were South Carolina, Louisville, Utah, Xavier, Wichita State, Clemson, and Alabama. So yeah, man, this is getting deep. It's getting real deep. But it just also lets you know it's going on everywhere. This is not something that's just happening at some couple of schools. This is happening all over the place, and it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Because now the FBI is involved and everything like that. We're probably gonna find some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Hey,
the worst is still yet to come.
Oh yeah, that's always how. This is the calm before the storm, or should I say, the storm before the big storm. You know what I mean? And speaking of staying in the realms of college, did you hear about that Texas Wesleyan coach who got fired?
Oh my goodness,
he's an idiot.
Listen, if it's not policy, if it's not something written that we don't allow such things, why would you make a public announcement that you don't want to, give a scholarship to somebody from the state of Colorado? That doesn't mean that that everybody from the state of Colorado smokes, or partakes in marijuana.
And for those of you who do not know, we're speaking about Mike Jeffcoat, who was the Texas Wesleyan, former Texas Wesleyan baseball coach, who was fired for sending an email to a high school athlete. He was a prospect that was being recruited
from the state of Colorado.
Yep. Saying that the school doesn't recruit players from Colorado because of failed drug tests. My thing is this. If I'm a coach and I know, man, every time we recruit from Colorado, 7 out of 10 kids fail a drug test. Yo, I'm not recruiting the Colorado kids.
But here's the thing:
I'ma keep that under wraps.
You don't have to put it in an email format.
You don't
All
have
you
to
had
put it in
say is
anything
at this
other than
point,
spoken word.
We're not going to recruit you. That's it.
Yeah, that's all.
That's
but
it.
what does this guy do? Well, he was fired.
Basically, he cost himself a form of living.
Yeah, he was fired for his remarks as well as the NAIA violations under his watch. So he wasn't actually living right either. So he's an NAIA coach. That's where Texas
He ain't even
Wesleyan
an
is.
NCAA coach.
Yeah.
But jeez.
So that lets you know violations are happening everywhere. Now, to quote the email he sent directly to the athlete that was a recruit. Unfortunately, we are not recruiting players from the state of Colorado, Jeff Coates' email said. In the past, players have had trouble passing our drug tests. We have made a decision not to take a chance on student athletes from your state. You can thank your liberal politicians. Best of luck wherever you decide to play. Why would you email that?
I think the latter portion of the email is what got him fired.
You can thank your liberal politicians.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Because
now
you're putting
throwing
it on
politics.
them. You're putting it on them when realistically it was your views that made you not want to recruit this young man.
But you basically threw the politics of the state of Colorado on this kid's future. You know, you
and
blame
gave
that.
up your future.
Pretty much.
I wonder if he'll get another job.
I don't know.
I mean, we've seen funnier things happen, but you know, I just don't think that any university of higher learning will want to take on those problems.
Yeah.
He'll probably be like he'll probably go back to coaching high school ball. You know, he'll start off at the JV level and maybe make its way to varsity and just be done with that.
Yep.
You know, just go back in the sunset and live your miserable life.
All right. And the recruiting question was Gavin Bell. He's an 18-year-old senior at Cherokee Trail High School in Aurora, Colorado. And his response was, what does it have to do with anything with me playing baseball because of past encounters and not taking a chance on me? And I think that's basically what it comes down to. Like, okay, yeah, sure, there's some weed heads in Colorado, but that doesn't mean the entire state of Colorado smokes weed.
Right. You can't put him in that basket.
Yeah. And weed is legal in Colorado. Weed has basically become a cigarette or a drink of alcohol in the state of Colorado. So you cannot penalize somebody in Colorado if they live in a state where this is legal.
I just love the fact that he said, you know, you could thank your liberal politics.
Yo,
I love the
yo,
fact that
he took a hardcore shot.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even owning up to his viewpoint. He just threw it on them.
Yeah.
God bless you.
You can thank your liberals for that one, buddy.
God bless.
Put that in your blunt and smoke it. But let me ask you this question, though. Moving forward, what does this have to do, or not what does this have to do, what will this do in regards to weed in sports? Colorado, Washington, those are the two main states.
Well,
California.
I think you're going to see where I don't think that they're going to be really testing for weed anymore.
That was going to be my question.
You know, because it's going to be mainstreamed, so they're not going to test for weed anymore.
And granted, there may be only like 3 to 5 states where weed is legal, but at the same time, can you penalize somebody from that state if it's legal in their state?
And see, that's the gray area, and that's why I say that it's going to be pretty soon where they're not going to test for weed.
Yeah, 'cause I look at it kind of like gun charges. Gun charges in New York State are highly different than they are in the South, right?
Yeah.
So I can carry a gun pretty much wherever I want in the South. I'm exaggerating, but compared to New York State, I can carry a gun anywhere in the South compared to the laws in New York State.
Right. You just have it concealed.
Yeah. However, if I come to New York State and I don't have a gun with me, you can't penalize me because I carry a gun all the time in Alabama.
Right.
So if I come from Colorado and I'm allowed to smoke as much weed as I want, even if you drug test me and I fail, if I don't have weed in your state, can you penalize me?
And how do you figure where you got the weed from?
That's
So
what
that
I'm
is
saying.
just too much of a gray area.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that we're just going to see a whole different change in everything.
Yeah, and I'm not condoning
that's gonna be
weed.
sooner
I
than
don't have
later.
anything against weed. I mean, if it's legal, it's legal. If it's not, it's not. But if I'm in a state where weed is legal, and I go to a state where it's not legal and it's not in my possession, you cannot penalize me if I smoke weed all day in Colorado.
Right.
You know, if I'm from
like I said, it's
Washington,
too much of a gray area. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm taking from that. So I wouldn't even. That's like something that you wouldn't even see. I don't think that they would even waste the money, the time to fight that.
And I think it's going to happen across the board because I don't know if you saw the little interview they had with who was it? David Stern, former NBA commissioner.
Yes, I did see that when
and
he was
Al
saying
Harrington.
that. Yeah.
He said he spoke with Al Harrington. Al Harrington's an avid, he's an avid supporter of the legalization of marijuana. He spoke with David Stern. They had a little one-on-one. And after that conversation, David Stern said he thinks, just based off that one conversation, he said he feels that weed should probably be looked at as something to be taken off the ban list in the NBA. Yeah. and some people are sitting there like, bruh, they've been smoking weed for 20 years now.
And that's why I think it's going to be taken off because there's proof that there's several players that partake in.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that it's going to be something that they're going to just take off of the list.
And
it's in their best interest to do that.
And the whole gateway drug thing, science is kind of starting to show that's kind of going out the window. The whole weed is a gateway drug and weed is addictive and us and the third. I think there's a lot more positives coming out about weed than there are negatives now with the advancements in science. No, I'm not. This is not a weed commercial. If you smoke, cool. If you don't, cool. I'm just stating the facts based on what I've read. There seems to be more positives coming up about weed than there are negatives. The healing benefits of weed, the pain relieving benefits of weed, and a lot of people have brought up the fact that the NFL has been so adamant about people not smoking weed in regards to pain relief, yet they'll prescribe opioids, which are known to be addictive. These chemical and synthetic forms of medication that are known to be addictive. But weed is natural, and they're saying, "Oh no, that's bad." But you can take our drugs. And I always looked at drugs anyway, personally, as it's not really about people using drugs. It's about people using the drugs that we want you to use.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. You can't use that, but here, take this prescription and take 100 of these.
We don't want you to use the popular drug. We want you to use what we want you to use.
Exactly. Percocet. Molly, Percocet. Did I ever tell you the story about the one time I had a Vicodin?
No, you did not.
I had.
Please share.
I had back spasms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is another reason why I'd probably say, even though I don't smoke weed, I would be a supporter of people who do, opposed to the prescribed medications. I had back spasms, and I had to go to the doctor. This is way back in the day, so times were a little bit different. This was like in the early 2000s. Laws have changed, so they're not. I don't know how. This is a true story. I don't know how this happened. I went to the doctor. I had back spasms. They gave me a Vicodin, like 9:30 in the morning, right? Just kind of relax the muscles and everything like that. They told me to take a nap, and then after the nap, drive home. So first, I'm thinking back of like, yo, they let me drive home on a Vicodin.
Right.
I took it at 9:30 in the morning, right?
And how long did you have to nap? Before you drove, I'm saying. What was the time that they wanted you to take?
Man, I left at like 11.
Okay, and you took the Vicodin at 9, you said?
At 9:30.
Okay.
I slept for like an hour, woke up, drove
you might
home.
have needed 30 more minutes, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
But hold on. Check the story, though. So, it's 11. Now, at the time I was living on my own. This before I was married, before I even met my wife. Well, I won't say met her, but before we were dating. So, I'm living on my own, right? And I go home. I go to sleep again. And I'm just like out of it the whole day, right? I get up. I wake up and I hear a knock at the door and everything. My phone going off, and it's my dad. My dad had come over to come check on me to say, you didn't go into work today. I know you had to go to the doctor because of your back. I was coming to just check on you, see how you're doing. I'm like, oh yeah, I went there. I'll be at work tomorrow, but I just, and I'm like thinking, I'm like, yo, it's 11:30. I'm still high. PM.
Wow.
14 hours have gone by since I've taken this Vicodin, and I'm still
God bless your dad for checking up.
Dude, I was like, yo, from now on, pain is cool. Vicodin is not.
You know what? I remember they gave me
last
Vikes.
time I ever had a Vicodin.
They gave me Vikes for After I got my wisdom teeth out.
Yeah.
Never took them.
Dude,
I just heard too many stories, and I wasn't willing to be a part of that.
I had it that one time, and I was like, never again. You prescribe Vicodin, I'll say, man, look, I go stretch. You know what I'm saying? But that's my thing.
Just give me some Aleve, man. If that don't help me, man,
that's
I
a prescribed drug that they're giving people, and they're saying that's okay, but weed isn't.
Right.
You know?
Mm.
I don't know. That's my take.
Mm-mm-mm.
But yeah. Is it time?
Yes.
For Temple Time?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes, it is. The Quinton Rose.
I said I wasn't going to talk about him today. These boys. How does your season, your last game of your season come up, and you have all the urgency because you had to win and then maybe win a couple games in the conference tournament, and you lay an egg, you come out and you only get, they were down early, 24-0. Nothing.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
We talking college basketball, not
yes,
football.
We're talking college basketball.
24.
They were down 24-0.
Jeez.
Before they scored their first basket. I mean, in all the games that I've ever played, I have never been down more than 8 points before we scored our first basket. I mean, just on that level, and with the game meaning so much, it was just mind blowing that that's what it was. But Q played well. He ended up with 17 points. He shot 7 for 15 from the field. He was the high scorer again. But I'm just saying, it may be time to look for a new coach. That's just me, though. That's just me.
Dropping the coach bomb.
Yeah, that's just me. At this point, his train of thought is that he's going to weigh his options before he decides if he's going to enter the draft. A lot of people are coming at him. I know Roc Nation just reached out to my brother, inquiring about him. They're still looking at him as being in the, number 20 on the draft. So we'll see. I really think he needs another year. Mm-hmm. Just because of what the year looked like this year. They're supposed to have a decent class coming in next year. So we'll see.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, but it's always cool like to hear, because this is a rare situation when you get to hear like the inside take on a college prospect and as the season goes along, the process of going through the games, the wins, the losses, but then also lingering in the back, that decision that's coming at the end of the year. Am I going another year? Should I go pro? Where do I stand? What are my prospects? Should I stay another year because I don't like where I'm projected, or do I need to work on another aspect of my game? It's interesting to hear it from the inside,
right?
Versus just kind of sitting back and just you hear the stories on ESPN and you wonder what's going on, but you having that inside track because that's your nephew. Yeah, that's an interesting take on things. And
it's funny because I like we spoke and I told him, if you feel as though you want to go, just make yourself available. Go to the combine. See where you stack up. Don't get a agent or anything. And if after everything pans out, and if everybody's coming at you and saying definitely first round blah blah blah, go ahead and get the bag, man. Go ahead and get the bag.
Yeah.
Because what's happening now in basketball is that they're not drafting off of, ability, so to speak. Potential. They're drafting off of potential. So when you look at the NBA draft, you see a lot of, foreigners that you've never heard of that are being drafted high. You don't see too many
not even coming over.
You don't see too many seniors in the first round.
No.
The seniors primarily be second round, picks and things of that nature, unless you have like a very exceptional senior. Like you may see like a Grayson Allen, in the first round and things of that nature. But
shout out to Josh Hart, God bless his wrist.
Yeah, he was an exception too.
Yeah.
I mean, as good a player as he was in college, in some publications he was college basketball player of the year. Mm-hmm. He got drafted pretty low in the first round.
Yep.
So it went to show you that maybe if he left a year earlier, he would have been a lottery pick. But, they look to get you younger because they figure if they can get you after, like, freshman, sophomore year, that's a couple more years of your prime that you will be playing. Whereas if you went the 4 years, now you're coming in the league at like 21, 22, as opposed to coming in the league at 19.
And I look at it like this too. At the when you go to play college sport, specifically we're talking about basketball in this instance. What is your end game? What is your goal? If your goal is to go to the NBA, if you're a prospect, I look at it as like this. You got to look out for yourself. You got to take care of yourself. That's not being selfish, because the longer you stay in college, the less opportunity. The more you're hurting yourself, the more money you're making for somebody else. It's almost like when you're working at a job and I have a side business that I run on my own that I want to see that flourish, and I can be working for myself. I can be, doing my own hours, making my money. I control what product I put out, and I reap all the benefits for it. Or I can stay at this job where I'm just a name and a number, but I'm making millions for somebody else.
Right.
Because that's their vision. I like my job, but I don't believe in this product that they're putting out. That's the belief in the vision of somebody else. My vision, my belief is something, it might be completely underrated. I might work at an alcohol company, and I don't drink alcohol. Right. I might work at Microsoft, but I like Google products. You know what I'm saying? But when you have an opportunity to take care of yourself and follow your own vision, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you might be leaving your school and you're leaving your teammates behind, this and the third, but at the end of the day, you got to look out for yourself. Because you don't get that money back. And eventually, Father Time is going to catch up. And Father Time is undefeated.
Yes, he is.
Except for Tom Brady. He didn't catch him yet, but it's going to happen soon.
True. Maybe next year. No, I don't think so.
I don't know. This dude, I don't know. He's a problem. But kids, when you're able to go pro, go pro. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Just don't go pro if you're not ready. That's the only objections I have with somebody leaving school early. If you're not ready, do not do it. If you don't have the support system and people in place that are going to help you be successful, don't do it. If you got to go out there on your own and just and you don't know what's going to happen and you have nobody there to support you, don't do it. But if you're ready, by all means, go get that bag. Because at the end of the day, nobody going to give it to you. Especially if it's at the college level. They keeping it all for themselves.
True that.
Yeah. We got anything else we want to cover, man? I think we kind of went through
the gamut of everything this week. It was a very eventful week.
Yes, it was.
Next week should be very eventful, with the college selections. We might even help you guys fill out your brackets next week.
Oh, yeah. Next week we talk about brackets. We got the NCAA championships coming up. So I'm probably going to go in a little bit more depth of the IAAF Indoor Track and Field Championships, the pros, but I also go into a little spiel about the NCAA Track and Field Championships. It's a little overview of and a recap. I won't go into too much detail. You can catch that on Track Talk with CH and Ferdy on the ROC Entertainment Network. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some changes in the West. I know for sure in regards to the NBA playoff watch, the nightlife watch, and the matchups. Of course, we care about the matchups. Don't get us wrong, but the nightlife is it's different, more intriguing. Look at it.
Oh yeah, we can do the nightlife of the games. Oh, I didn't think about that'd be.
Oh, you talking about the NCAA tournament?
That'd be 32 matchups that we could really look at.
Now, granted, we know they're not playing like actual home games, but we don't care. We can match it.
Well, if they're matched up, we just say,
if they were playing a home game.
Let's say if we had a matchup of, let's say,
NC State and Tulane.
Right. So you go ahead and say, okay, we're looking at, whatever area, like around the Raleigh area. Then we're looking at,
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Yeah, we know which one's better. Yeah. Then you might have a matchup of, like, let's say, UCLA versus, like, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm just throwing a couple of things.
What if you had like the Miami versus like Long Beach State?
Yeah.
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 College, I think those matches be a little more interesting than the NBA. NBA is set in stone.
Or if you had like a matchup of, like, let's say UNLV versus like a Houston.
Ooh,
You know, you had a matchup like that.
that'd be dangerous.
Or you may be able to have a matchup like, let's say, you can have Villanova versus USC
Yeah,
or something like that. The
it'd be
possibilities are endless.
especially in the NCAA tournament, because
Yeah.
NBA, you have the same teams every year, different matchups, same teams.
Yep.
NCAA, you never know who's gonna make it.
Right.
Never know. You know, you might get Butler one year, you might get Wichita State. You never know.
You know, like you can get like Cincinnati versus like St. Louis,
Woo.
something like that. You know,
Woo.
wow, I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And whew, maybe we should go live while they're actually announcing.
We might have to do that.
Yeah.
We might have to do that.
Oh, I won't be back. Oh man.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it
We'll
out.
figure it out though. We'll figure it out.
We'll
But
make it work.
Whatever we do, we assure you, you will love it
It'll
as
be
you love
interesting.
everything that we do.
Yeah. And if we aren't live, we can fake it till we make it. But either way, it's going to be good quality content. You know what I'm saying?
And we'll have different sponsors as well.
Oh, yeah. Sponsors always are prevalent. But just so in case you forgot, you can check us out on iTunes, on YouTube, on SoundCloud. You can also, forthcoming, you will soon be able to check us out on Google Music as well.
Yeah.
All right?
We're going to be everywhere.
That's right. You can hit us up on Instagram. You can hit us up on Twitter. The email for the podcast is rocnraggedy@gmail.com. That's rocnraggedy@gmail.com. Once again, rocnraggedy@gmail.com. Hit them with your IG and Twitter, man.
On Twitter, I am known as @Raggedy Andy, and that's Raggedy with the slash. What do you call that thing? Anyway?
Underscore.
The underscore. I never knew what that was. You could also find me on Twitter at Arrogance21, and on Facebook as Andy Rose. I use my government for that.
Yeah. The Rockin' Raggedy Twitter is @Rockin' spelled the same as Rockin' Raggedy at Gmail. That's ROCN, the letter N, Raggedy. And you can hit me up on Twitter. I'm @TheRealDJRoc. That's @TheRealDJROC. IG, you can hit me @TheReal_DJ_ROC. Or you can hit me @Coach Harris TF. And that's TS for track and field. And that's the IG. So yeah, be on the lookout for the next episode. Like I said, we'll cover more NBA stuff, more NFL stuff with the combine winding down, the draft on the horizon.
MLB baseball will be starting soon.
That's
and
right.
If you're like us and you're Yankees fans, boy, you got a
Go
lot to look
Yankees.
forward to.
Oh yeah, the evil empire is back, baby.
Did you see Russell Wilson at training camp?
Yeah,
Russell Wilson can play.
he used to play.
Yeah, he used to play.
I
but
heard he was like nice.
He could still play. He hit like 6 home runs in the practice.
I heard he was nice. Like if football doesn't work out, he could have gone pro.
Absolutely, he could.
I think somebody might have drafted him. Actually,
I think the Texas Rangers drafted him,
I think
and then
you're right, yeah.
they, kind of let his rights go, and the Yankees jumped right on him. So
Yep.
that's what we do.
Hey,
The Yankees did have Jameis Winston in the fold at one point too as well.
okay, yeah, I heard he was a nice baseball player too.
Oh, listen, he was a relief pitcher, and he had some nasty stuff. Seriously,
Mariano Rivera type stuff.
I'm not going that far.
Okay.
I'm not going that far.
Just check it. Yeah, but we could definitely going to talk about baseball. Spring ball is on the horizon, and I cannot wait for the Judge show.
Judge and Stanton.
Judge and Stanton, man, it's going to be
Man.
crazy.
Listen, what's the over and under for home runs for them?
We talked about that, right?
Yeah. We have to solidify the number because I think we talked crazy and we were saying like 300.
But I
and
think
stuff
we were
like
talking
that.
about the Yankees in general, right?
Right.
Are we
Just
talking
the
about
two of them.
Just Judge and Stanton.
Just the two of them. Okay, the
I'm going over
okay, listen,
95.
I was just gonna say the over under would be at 90. So you're going over.
If you say the over under is 90, I'm going over.
I'm going over as well
Yeah,
because I see 100.
that's an average of 45 each. I'm
I
going
see
over.
100. I see
Yeah.
50 each. I see 50 each. I'm going 100. So
Yeah, because I don't think you can pitch around them all season.
Oh no, you can't.
Yeah. And then pitchers have egos, so I'm striking this dude out. Striking him out,
Oh, we're
bro.
gonna lead it. We'll probably lead the league in strikeouts, but
Yeah.
when we do
It'll be
make
worth
contact,
It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Yeah.
Here's the thing. How many Yankees will be in home run derby this year? Do you let both of them participate?
You got to. I think you have to. If you're doing it for the sport, if you're doing it for the coach, if you're doing it for the fans, they both need to be in there.
And chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah, there you go.
No pause on that.
No pause. Press play. But yeah, I think you have to let both of them, if not only for the hate aspect, because hate is just as good as positive energy when it comes to marketing.
I agree.
Specifically with marketing. I'm not talking about in general. Yeah, I don't go around hating. But if you're marketing something, if you have just as many people hating it as they love it, that's beautiful marketing.
Hate it or love it, underdogs on top.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What Eazy-E said in Strata Content, all publicity is good publicity.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So
this is true.
Yeah.
Unless you're the FBI looking after the NCAA.
Yeah, then you might not want any publicity at all, So, but anyway, yeah. So next episode we're gonna talk MLB. We're gonna talk some more NFL off-season talk. The NBA as they keep moving towards the playoffs, making the playoff push and the shifting in the standings. We're gonna talk NCAA championships. We're gonna talk IAAF championship recap, and who knows what somebody's gonna do within a week.
Might throw you a curveball and talk WrestleMania as well.
Ooh.
We may have a guest to come talk wrestling.
We might have to do that. Yeah, I think so. It's all good. It's all coming. Next episode, Rockin' Raggedy. So y'all make sure y'all tune in. Y'all click the subscribe button on if you're on the YouTube channel.
Please do.
Please click subscribe.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
That way you get all notifications every time we post an episode on YouTube. If you're in iTunes or SoundCloud, you're all good to go. Just keep on, follow us and keep the comments coming. Comment on YouTube. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Hit us up on email.
And nothing's exempt either.
Yeah.
We'll talk about anything.
We'll talk about anything. If you want
to talk about curling, we can talk about curling. If you want to talk about cricket, we can talk about cricket.
Yeah.
We want to talk about, football. Not
American
football, but we can talk about Manchester, teams like that,
I ain't gonna lie. If I was still 30, I'd want to go out drinking with Manchester United just once.
Just once?
I probably wouldn't remember anything after that.
I think you'd have to go twice just to make sure that that it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah. Because I heard the soccer hooligans get it in. Something serious.
Boy, I was in Jamaica for a soccer friendly. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, nothing like it ever.
And I don't understand why it's not as popular here. It is at the elementary, high school level. But once kids go to college, soccer in the United States is not popping.
Because it's not an all-inclusive sport. I mean, think about it. You don't see as many people of color playing soccer.
Nope.
But if I'm starting the soccer team, you don't think I'm going to somewhere like Compton and finding the fastest young guy and teaching him how to play soccer?
Exactly.
Hey.
Speed and foot skills. Soccer's really not that much different than basketball if you think about it. You're trying to dribble and get a good handle in basketball. You're just using your feet in soccer.
Yeah.
Same concept, different use of it though. So, but yeah, that's all. Rockin' Raggedy.